What is up, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Apple, Spotify, and everyone tuned in on the Texas Sports Unfiltered app? Welcome in to another edition of Bucky and BK live on Texas Sports Unfiltered and on the free TSU app. Today is Tuesday, July 29th, 2025, and the Buck and I are with you for the next 2 hours. On today's show, we're just 1 day away from Texas fall camp. We will continue our position-by-position preview and discuss the biggest storylines to look out for as training camp begins on the 40 acres. Plus, we'll hear from the coordinators today. If you could ask Kyle Flood, Pete Kwiatkowski, and Jeff Banks a question, what would it be? We'll give our answers to that question. The Dallas Cowboys dodged a major injury bullet yesterday. What does it mean for their 2025 season? We've got to dive into the weird Christian Wilkins story out of Vegas, the latest with Coach Prime, the top 10 players in college football, and a pretty ridiculously nasty video from Yankee Stadium from over the weekend that is very unfiltered. I'll go ahead and say that right off the bat. We've got a lot to dive into in the world of sports and beyond. Plenty of fun to be had between now and 9 o'clock. We appreciate y'all starting your Tuesday off with us. How are you doing this morning, my man?
I'm doing good, man. Very sad news, very good news and sad news yesterday. Of course, Deion Sanders, very good news for him, and hopefully his full recovery from bladder cancer. And sad news about the death of Ryne Sandberg, Hall of Famer for the Chicago Cubs. He was one of my favorites. He really was. I mean, he was just steady, just kind of a steady ball player, man. He was one of the Cub favorites. He's one of my favorites. I wasn't a Cubs fan. You know, I did like Ernie Banks a little bit, but I loved Ryne Sandberg too. That was sad news. I was 65 years old.
65 years old. Yep.
I don't know. I didn't get much from what happened. I guess they've got that pretty privately kept. I've got to be.
No, it was prostate cancer.
Prostate cancer?
Yeah, he was diagnosed in January of 2024, and he passed away yesterday at his home, surrounded by loved ones. But the C word, unfortunately, took another one, Buck.
Well, if I wouldn't, I was going to say to you, it's probably something to do with cancer, and it was. And that's too bad. I mean, once again, as Deion, put himself out there yesterday and very humble about, and thankful, that he's got all these great opportunities, but he thanked the Lord and he said, hey, just a simple check. That's all it was. He was just going, he'd had blood clots and he was going for just getting his regular physical and found that out. And boy, guys and gals out there, if you haven't been checked, you should as soon as possible. I mean, if you take a day out of your work day, and if you're going on vacation, you got one less day of vacation to get some of these things that you can get done, make appointments for them as soon as possible. It is hard. I'll just say this. It's hard to, start thinking about these things and say, okay, next week I'll get my urologist or whatever I have to have done. It is, some of these things are weeks out. Some of them are months out. These things that I'm getting done now, I had those things planned out in the spring of when I could get to these doctors now. And if you miss one and you get a setback, it'll take you months to get in to see somebody. And especially when it comes to doctors that are going to check you for prostate cancer and things like that. I'll say any doctor right now, the medical staffs are kind of overrun with people that do things, whether they do things late or not. But those doctors and assistants, they got to go on vacation. They got to get a break from what they do too. And when they go on break, dude, it sets you back months to get in to see them. So I would say get checked as soon as you can, or make an appointment so that you can get in September. And I'm not talking about August. You can forget about that. If you can get in September, you'll be lucky. But get it checked. Don't wait.
Yeah. There are some places that you can get in pretty quickly. I mean, I got an annual wellness exam at Total Men's last week.
Yeah, there's some of the,
I booked my appointment the week before. Now, they're not a specialist. They're just kind of general. Hey, we're checking you for a few things just to make sure everything's all right. But,
just give them some blood, do some blood work, folks. They can find out a lot from your blood, what's happening with you.
Yeah. So it's easy. There are a lot of places you can just get in and you can get out and you can get on with your life. But, we're partnered with the American Cancer Society for a reason. We've had a number of conversations over the last few months with folks who are a part of that organization, to try to encourage folks to get tested. And thankfully, Coach Prime did that. That was the big announcement yesterday. He announced that he had battled and beat bladder cancer. So best case scenario, you and I were talking during yesterday's show, like anytime someone calls a press conference with the medical team, it's usually bad news bears. And
Yes.
with time and all the recent health issues that he's dealt with, it kind of felt like, all right, he's about to announce that he's having to step away from coaching because he's dealing with more. And thankfully, it was, kind of the opposite of that. He dealt with something horrible. He beat it, and he's going to continue coaching. So,
yeah, he didn't let anybody know. His son's just found out.
It's crazy.
I know. Yeah, that's a difficult deal to go through by yourself. You're wondering what your next day is going to be like, what your next move is going to be like. Who do you trust? It's hard. I'm pretty sure he leaned on his wife, but his kids, he kind of left them out of that. He left the grown folks to deal with that, and then himself, But just that simple check, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
There's, like I said, there's a lot they do with blood work. I'm so sick of getting stuck by needles, but they find out a lot about what you need and what you're deficient in. And, and that doesn't take much to go in and get that. You go to your regular doctor, BK, they'll give you the deal of PS, whatever it is, and SATs or whatever it is that you go in and check in your blood. They'll just say, go in there and get this done. And they'll send it to me, and we'll find out if we're.
Uh-oh. Have we lost the Buck? Have we lost the me? Bucky's frozen on my screen. Is he frozen for y'all? Am I frozen for y'all? Can y'all hear either of us? Okay, it's frozen Bucky. Thanks, CB. All right, we'll see if we can get the Buck back on here in a couple of minutes. But, an important note, go get checked if you can. I know life's busy. You got a lot going on. There's a lot of other things guys would rather be doing than spending time at the doctor's office. I'm guilty of that. We're all guilty of that. But it's important to go get checked out. And, whoa, that's way too much me. There we go. That's still too much me. But hopefully the Buck will jump back on here in a couple of minutes, and we will continue today's Bucky and BK. I did want to play this, and, we'll probably play this again for the Buck, but I thought this was pretty good. So Deion Sanders, again, held that press conference at the University of Colorado yesterday. He announced that he underwent surgery to remove his bladder after doctors had diagnosed a tumor there. And he said since the surgery, there have been no traces of cancer, and he's going to continue to coach the Buffaloes this season. Called a press conference yesterday along with a couple of doctors, and I think the head trainer from the University of Colorado. And they all answered questions for about 40 minutes. And, credit to Coach Prime. It's obviously a very serious thing that he just went through, but he was cracking some jokes up there. He was kind of going back and forth between, being humorous, funny Deion with all the personality that he has to like incredibly serious. Oh man, praise God. I'm incredibly thankful, incredibly fortunate that I was able to beat this thing. There's a good back and forth there as we got the Buck back on. Do you hear me, Buck?
I got you.
There we go. He's talking more about Deion and his press conference yesterday. And I thought Coach Prime did a great job. I didn't sit and watch the whole thing, but I saw enough clips of what he said. And he did a really good job of being humorous at times, but also being very serious and looking inward and showing a lot of perspective at others. But I thought this was kind of funny. Deion Sanders sounds like he might have himself a new NIL deal with a diaper company. Listen to him yesterday.
I depend on the pen. If you know what I mean. I truly depend on the pen. I cannot control my bladder. So I get up to go to the bathroom already 4 or 5 times a night. But then I'm sitting up there waking up, like my grandson. We in the same thing. We got the same problem right now. We going through the same trials and tribulations. We're trying to see who has the heaviest bag at the end of the night. It's ridiculous. But I'm making a joke out of it, but it's real. Like, it is real, it is real, it is real. So if you see porta potty on the sideline, it's real, okay? I'm just telling you right now, you're going to see it. You're going to see the practice, you're going to see one, because it is unbelievable.
When you got to go, you got to go. You know how I tell you about me and my bladder. I got a tiny bladder, and I was up last night 3 times to go to the bathroom. And this is in a span of, I go to bed 8:30, 9 o'clock around that time. By 11 o'clock, I had got up to go to the bathroom. By 1 o'clock, I had got up and gone again. And around 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning, up again, just turning over to my side, whatever it is, filled up. I had to get up. I used to be able to, when I was getting up doing those 6 o'clock, 6 to 10 shows, I would be able to fall back asleep within minutes. It's not that easy anymore. I don't fall right back asleep before my head hits the pillow. My head wouldn't even hit the pillow when I was back out again. But I don't get those, if I go to the bathroom twice during the course of the night, that's a good night for me. And, if the hard part is like, when I go vacationing and I got to get up in a strange place, those Motel 6s with stuff in the middle of the floor, or, the dresser up against the door by the bathroom. I mean, I run into shit at night. I don't cut on the lights. I just kind of stumble around in there, but some nights are better than others. So, I mean, I know how he feels. I haven't hit Depends yet. Hopefully I never will.
I was going to ask, you don't depend on Depends, do you?
No, man, no. But, once again, I'm a dude. So when I go play golf or anything, sometimes you drink, it's coming out. I mean, the bathroom is our universe.
I was going to say, yeah, the golfers don't depend on Depends. They depend on the trees and the forest.
Yeah. And so it just is. I mean, that's horrible for him. And they're going to be a little porta potty on that sideline where that dude's going to hurt.
How about that? That's the big takeaway there. Like, has that ever happened before in the history of football at any level?
I mean, I've seen guys piss in buckets.
Sure. Yeah, that happens a lot. Obviously, if guys can plan it out well enough, they'll just run back into the locker room to go do their business. But I don't know if I've ever seen like a legit porta pot on a sideline for players or coaches to use.
You're going to see one up near the stands where they can get in there. People are going to be banging on the porta potty. How about away games? If he's got that thing on there, people will be banging from the stands, banging on the porta potty.
Oh, it's going to be like gold, right? It's not going to be your run of the mill, blue or green, old looking porta potty. It's going to be
it's going to be Lake Blue. It's going to be big blue. Yeah. The blue wave.
It's got to be like Colorado. It's going to be Colorado colors. They're going to have this thing tricked out. It's Deion. It's not going to be like the ACL Festival porta potty.
Yeah, man, just a basic old porta potty. But just him, it's going to be as clean as can be, but it'll be the basic. That guy's not going to – he may. I mean, one year I went to the Texas OU game, and they have those deals with air conditioning, places to wash your hands inside of them, music playing inside. The local station was playing. You could fit like 3 people in one of those things, but they were air conditioned right there, right in the fairgrounds. It was awesome.
Air conditioned?
Yes. Yeah, they have them where 3 or 4 people can get in at one time. There's sinks there's mirrors there's music playing. There's individual little potties inside with air conditioning. That's not a
porta pot. That's a trailer. That's a bathroom trailer. Those are very different things, Buck.
Okay, well, yeah, I've been in the trailers there. They don't have those anymore. It's just basic porta potties now. Somebody got rid of those after 1 year, and that thing was working nice. I mean, they had people in there it was hot that game. People that were passed out, getting ready to pass out, were standing in there, getting their face, wiping their face down with the water and being in the air conditioning. That's good stuff. Why don't we have more of those?
The water from the toilet or the water in the sink?
The water in the sink. Why don't we have those? I mean, doesn't the ACL, what do they have? Just porta potties, or they use those trailers?
In the VIP areas, they have those trailers.
Oh, I see.
Yep. You got to pay a little extra to get access to those nicer bathrooms. But for
that sounds like a good business,
Yeah.
That trailer deal.
Yeah. Mobile bathroom trailers. I mean, it's much better than the porta pot. Like you said, it's a little cleaner in there. You get a little AC in there. A few more people can pile
it
in
wasn't as
there.
clean as the one I went to at my high school. That was brand new. I was first in when they
Oh, where
wouldn't
the
let me in the locker
janitor,
room.
the one the janitor tipped over once you locked the door.
No, the one the janitor said, "Hey," I said, "Hey, listen, I'm on the Wall of Fame in here." And the guy goes, "So, senor, what do you want me to do?" He goes, "Brand new. That porta potty's brand new." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, cool. I can do that." And it
Oh
was
my goodness.
blue. Well, I mean, it was like waves in it. It was like Shark Week.
Sharks in there? That's not good.
I hope not. All right. Good morning to the soldiers at Fort Hood, Texas, the soldiers in the state of Texas, and all those that fight for us each and every day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. We do appreciate it. To you and your families, you all be safe out there.
Yes, indeed. So the very good news involving Coach Prime, and he implored people to go see doctors regularly to get examined for cancer or other issues. And like you said, Buck, he emphasized that he had shown no signs of cancer, and he was just there on a regular exam, and they were able to find something. So
Wow, bladder cancer. They had to remove your bladder.
had to remove his bladder. Yeah, now he depends on the pens, and man, I'm excited to see what this porta pot looks like in week 1 of the college football season.
I'm excited to see how he does his first Depends commercial.
Yeah. I didn't think I'd be watching much Colorado this year, right? I mean, last year they had the Heisman winner and Travis Hunter, and Shedeur Sanders was one of the better quarterbacks in college football. Like, there are a lot of reasons for people to tune into the Buffs over the last couple of years. This year, a lot of transfers, a lot of new faces. Obviously, they lose their best 2 players from a season ago. I didn't think I was going to be watching too much Colorado football, but now to see the porta pot on the sideline, I'll be locked in.
Oh, dude, it'll be hot. He'll be taking water and then turning right around saying, "Hey, hold this clipboard here for a second. I'll be right back." And they're gonna have commercials with Deion flashing to the porta potty. Well, he's not gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be running, but they'll show
That would
old
be,
Deion
oh,
taking
yeah.
off. Oh, they'll do stuff with him, returning punch back in the old days, and then put that with Depends commercial. That'll be awesome.
That will be awesome whenever it happens. By the way, Colorado's first game is a pretty good one. It's Friday night, August 29th, the day before Texas takes the field against Ohio State. The Buffaloes will be hosting Georgia Tech in Boulder. So it's a solid game. Georgia Tech's been pretty good over the last couple of years. They've got Haynes King back at quarterback, the former
Let me help you
Aggie.
make some money. Let me help you make some money with Georgia Tech that day. That's one of my games right there.
You're betting against the cancer survivor?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, all right. Well, the feel-good story no longer feels
His Hall
very
of Fame,
good.
his Hall of Fame son is not quarterbacking any longer there.
Sorry about that.
With
Yeah,
his
his Hall
number
of Fame.
retired.
Yeah, with his like 500 record that he had during his
Yes.
career. Yeah, that's
Georgia Tech's pretty salty on defense, and they won't have much offense with a new quarterback going on.
yeah.
So I think Georgia Tech will run the option a little bit with Haynes King. That'll be a long day for Colorado at home.
Be an interesting one right there. But yeah, one of the better under the radar week 1 matchups. And again, it's on Friday night. So I assume that's the best Friday night game we have that weekend. I have to double check that at some point. But there you go. Good news there with Coach Prime, who will continue coaching for CU.
Right.
All right. Plenty to get into. You got something you want to mention here, Buck?
No, man, I'm good. I am good.
Right on. All right. We are 1 day away from Texas football fall camp getting underway. And players and coaches will report today, and then the first practice will go down tomorrow. But something happens today, Buck, that I believe only happens once a year, and that is the coordinators will be available to the media. So all 3 Texas coordinators, Kyle Flood is technically the offensive coordinator, obviously the offensive line coach as well, Pete Kwiatkowski and Jeff Banks will all meet with the press today to field some questions for, 20 to 30 minutes. So
Nice.
I'm curious. You and I won't be there today down on campus. We'll have a TSU contingent there. Of course, our man Chip Brown will be a part of that. But I'm curious if you had the chance to ask those guys a question, and you could start with any of the 3 coordinators, and you could start with whatever question you want. If you were there today and you could ask any Texas coordinator anything, what would it be?
Well, I definitely asked the special teams coordinator who he has in line to be the next punt returner for University of Texas. That will be, have they They may not be able to answer that out. They may tell you they've got 3 or 4 guys that have been working in the spring. I would expect that would be the answer, but I don't think they would hone in on one guy right now. There's a lot to look at during the fall camp. So, but that would be one of my questions. The other was, are you going to start blocking some punts again? Have you found a guy who's specifically has a knack for blocking punts? That's kind of the other thing I'd ask of the special teams coach. Offensively, I'd ask what changes in the run game are you going to use, especially in goal line situations? Will there be is there any change in are you going to do anything differently in your run game, and especially within the 5 yards and in? What have you changed? And I'd like to hear some changes of what they're going to do, and hopefully none of them entail bringing some guy on defense as the fullback.
Okay, nothing for Pete Kwiatkowski?
No, really, nothing much for him. I mean, I'd want to know who in the spring really that you thought stood out for you that we didn't really hear much about, and you were just still kind of waiting to talk about that person in the fall that you never really said much about in the spring. Just give us a little bit of a hint who kind of stood out for you. Maybe some of the newcomers that were around, or some of the incoming freshmen that got here earlier. What did they look like in the spring for you?
There you go. Yeah,
but I don't need to know about his schemes. He's been solid. I just watching, I don't know. I guess I'd ask some questions of who would be your backups and how that secondary position, how you're going to mix that around, because you have so many good players back there. I mean, are there starters, or are there guys that'll start, but there's a guy that'll rotate in there every 3 series or something like that? Or is there specific starters at corner that are just going to stay there? Obviously, Manny Muhammad, once he's in, he is the guy until further notice. Until he needs a rest, he is the corner. But on the other side, are there 2 guys over there that'll rotate, or is there just 1 guy?
Sure. Yeah, I wrote down 3 questions for each coordinator, and I'll go in the order that you went in. So we'll start with special teams, then go to offense, and then go to defense. And a lot of my questions are very similar to what you had. I mean, I think a macro question for Jeff Banks is, like, what happened last year? Like, you had one of the best special teams units in the country in 2022 and 2023. Even when your team was not good in 2021, you were still one of the better special teams units in college football. Like, what the hell went wrong last season, and how do you fix that? And, he might say, well, we went out and got a new kicker. We went out and got a new punter. And that might be the end of his answer, but you're right. I mean, it's like, it felt like just about everything that happened from a special teams standpoint last year was bad. Whereas the previous couple of years, it felt like if there was a game-changing play in that third phase, it was in favor of Texas.
Yeah, they were more the aggressor on special teams the last couple of years, and they kind of laid back last year and let things happen to them.
Yeah, I mean, it was missed field goal after missed field goal. It was bad punt after bad punt. It was Warren Roberson holding penalty after Warren Roberson blocking the back penalty.
Fake punts.
Fake punts were obviously brutal. Like, yeah, like what went wrong last year, and how does it get cleaned up? I also want to know if there's a competition at kicker. I don't think the answer is yes, but remember, Bert Auburn lost his job to Will Stone for the Ohio State game. Will Stone didn't attempt a field goal. He just kicked 2 extra points. He made them both. But Will Stone's going into his 4th year. He's obviously been the kickoff guy at Texas. We know that's going to continue. He was a really good kicker in high school. And I assume at practice the last 3 years, he's been kicking field goals and not just doing 50 kickoffs and then leaving. So obviously the Horns went to Texas State and brought in the grad transfer Mason Shipley. I feel like he's the favorite to win that job, but I do wonder if there's an actual competition there at kicker, or if it's like, no, we literally brought Mason Shipley in to be the kicker, and there's no question.
Yeah, I don't really want a competition. I just want Shipley to be the kicker, and that other dude to knock him out of the end zone. And if something happens to Shipley, he pulls a hammy or something, then the other guy is good enough to go in there and make some kicks, because you have enough confidence in him that you're not looking for somebody else that's on the team to kick the field goals. Is that guy able to kick field? We haven't seen him do it, but is he able to kick field goals? I got to believe, yes, he can do all of those.
I think so. Yeah.
I just don't think I don't think he has a consistency probably with them enough to be the kicker.
Yeah, right. Like, last year, I mean, Bert Auburn was struggling a lot down the stretch, and they didn't make the move
Yeah,
until,
you could have been the kicker. You probably could have kicked for him.
I can make the extra points. I feel like I would have been just as bad as Bert Auburn on any
Oh,
other
really?
field.
Just as bad as that guy?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe I would have been on target. I just would have gotten it 25 yards instead of 45 yards. That
I
would have
couldn't
been
have done
the
it
issue.
because they don't have the square toe anymore.
You could have brought back the square toe, right?
Oh, God.
Is there a rule against that?
I don't think there is, but I don't think do they put it on a tee anymore? Doesn't it go right on the ground now?
Right on the ground.
Square toe, you need to have a little bit of elevation. It's like, see your boys cheat in golf and they put that ball up, they dig that iron in the ground and they stick it up on top of a little mound there. That's the one. That's what the cheaters, when they find that lump of grass, oh, I can't hit it off this bare thing. This is winter rules. Let's just put it on this mound of grass that's up in like a tee.
Yeah,
that's what you need for the square toe. You could stub that square toe right into the ground if you kicked it right off the ground.
That doesn't sound good at all.
I took that square toe with me to the Giants, by the way, too.
Did you?
Yes.
When you were trying out for a receiver?
Yes, I got the kick. I got the kick in practice, an extra point.
Were you trying out for kicker too?
No, just if somebody got hurt. I don't even know who the hell the kicker was back then.
You're trying to Justin
Reed.
Reed.
Some side-winding Frenchie.
Okay, I like that. You're going with the Justin Reed bit, former Texan safety who would be the backup kicker if something ever happened to Fairbairn down there. I like that. It didn't work either, though. You didn't make the team for kicking as well?
No. I just thought that was a little added bonus for the free agent. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you're getting a little extra here.
Hey, show your versatility. You can be a jack of all trades, right? You got roster limits in the NFL. You got to be able to do multiple jobs.
$1,200 contract, $1,200 free agent contract. That's all it was.
That's what you wanted, or that's what you signed?
That's what I got.
All right. Well, hey, how long were you there?
I was there all the way to the last cut, 4 o'clock.
But how many?
3:55.
How many days? How many days was like? How many weeks? How many days?
What are we talking? Like 3 weeks. Like 3 weeks there. It was long.
All right, 3 weeks for $1,200. Yeah, that's not very good.
No, that's not, dude. That's not.
Although back in those days, back in like World War II times, I feel like that would have gotten you pretty far. No.
No, it was right back to working at the Puerto Rican pool after that.
Were you making more doing that than?
I made more at the steel mills than I did. I went to the steel mills. Yeah, I did that for 9 months, and then I said after 9 months, I said, "This is not going to be my lifestyle. I can't do this. I can do this. I barely did, but I did it for 9 months. I was working in the I was working in the beam yards, chaining up steel, going over the top of my head, working when the iron came off the deal and having to go out there and mark it, step out there with blazing red iron coming out of the furnace. I did that. I did all that stuff. Stayed in those little shanties in the cold and in the heat. And then I said, you know what? I can't do this for a living. I know this money is fantastic, but I can't do this. I will die here. All I have to do is slip one time, or somebody above me has to slip, and that's it. I mean, you don't lose a finger, you lose an arm. You know what I mean? Or if it lands on you, you're just dead. Or if you fall down on a hot steel, you just die.
Probably ingesting all sorts of chemicals too. That
I didn't even think about who cared about that stuff at that time. I was ingesting that Amstel Light and all that other stuff. I mean, anything I could drink at that time, who cared?
That's worse than the chemicals in the steel mill, I think.
But you know what? Life lessons. It teaches you to get to what you want to do in life in a hurry. Unless that's what you want to do. And a bunch of my friends, that's what their fathers did. And they worked in places like that for 50 years until they were told they had to retire.
What a life.
For some, that's just a way of living.
Hey, it ain't much.
There's the people won't work. You know how people don't want to go to work as it is now? Can you imagine having to do that, having to get up, at 5:30 in the morning and go into that?
No. People
with really a lunch pail, with your lunch in the pail. Oh my God.
You think America's youths are doing that?
Oh my God, no.
This generation, my generation, it doesn't work that hard, but it's getting worse the younger and younger we get as a society. And
They want it easier and easier.
no way Gen Z or Gen Alpha or
No
whatever
way.
the hell on right now is working in the steel mill. It's going
I
away.
see these guys that come here every other Monday to cut my grass, and they've got a truck and they unload that thing, and they come here and they're here for about 40 minutes, and they probably do 6 of these a day, and that's what they do every day. And I'm like, they got families. That's what they got to do.
God bless them. Need those blue collar workers, man. Those are jobs that people need to have. Thankfully, people have them.
Absolutely. Hopefully, they'll still be around before your little AI friends start taking over.
Well, the jobs will be done a lot better when the AI takes
over.
Oh,
no. No. There's that. I like that human touch. I know you don't. You could care less because you're one of them. You are one of them all the way.
I'm on their side, of course, because I'm trying to win. I want
You're
winners.
You want winners, huh?
Yeah, I'm Mike Singletary. I want winners. I'm on the side of the machines. All of you people who side with the people are done. So I'm going to be here for a lot longer than you. Good luck.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry about that, y'all. All right, more for Jeff Banks. I also want to know how many freshmen are going to contribute on special teams. Like, I obviously want to know how many are going to contribute on offense and defense as well. But special teams is generally where you see those younger guys contribute the most early on. You know, Texas brought in 25 players in this class, the number one class in America. But I think 12, 13, 14 of them could be 3-and-dones here in Austin.
Wow.
Meaning they're really good. So those guys, you can't leave those guys on the sideline. Again, there's a lot of experience ahead of them. So you don't have to rely on those freshmen to start. But some of these guys are just going to be too good to leave on the sideline. And it's going to be tougher to find snaps on offense and defense. So I want to see these guys play on special teams.
Well, if they make the trips, they got to play on all the special teams. If they get a chance to be on the plane, because you can only take so many people with you, they have to. They can't be there because they were 5 stars and nice kids, and they chose your school, and they're not ready. They're only ready to do one thing on the special teams because they're good athletes. No, they got to do numerous things on special teams if that's what you want from them. Or why would they make the trip? Just to jack around at the trip? I mean, just to be a pain in the ass? No, they got to play if they come on the bus.
Yeah, I think of Jonah Williams, right? He's the guy who comes top of mind. I mean, the number 1 ranked recruit that Texas brought in. We obviously saw his athleticism on full display during baseball season. And that guy, he was an elite return man in high school at Galveston Ball. I don't know if Sark and Jeff Banks trust a true freshman enough to be their number 1 punt returner. That guy's got to be on the field, in some capacity. And maybe it is as a returner. Maybe he's just that good, or they give him that role from day one. There are a few guys like that, or it's just those dudes are just such good athletes that they, on their talent and athleticism alone, they're going to be better than 90% of the people that are on the field with them at any time.
Yeah, I mean, is he a twitchy guy? Or I know he's kind of a smooth operator, and he probably he plays taller than he really is. He looks like a 6'2" guy when he plays baseball, man. That's how it looks. Baseball players that are smooth like that. But is he a twitch guy did he steal a bunch of bases when he got into baseball games? Does he have that kind of speed and that kind of, ability to return punts? Or is he a legitimate 6'2" guy? Because I don't want one of those guys back there returning my punts at 6'2". 6-footer, yeah.
He's 6'3".
Yeah, I don't see him as their punt returner.
Too tall?
But was he? You said he was back there as a high school. He was awesome at that.
Yeah, kick returner, punt returner.
Well, yeah, that's high school. That's he's a big target then, but he's better than the guys on the field. In this deal, you're 6'3". You're a huge target as a punt returner.
Right.
There's a lot more girth for guys to hit when they square you up.
I don't know his size.
I kind of like that. I kind of like the guys as kickoff returners, punt returner, as those guys that are, maybe no bigger than 6'1", those 5'11", 5'10" guys. Like the kid last year, what was he? I mean, Matthew Golden was probably 6 foot. Wasn't he 5'11", 6 foot when he was there?
Silas Bolden was a punt returner, and he was less than 6 feet.
That's what I'm saying. That's good. But when Golden was back there, what was he? 6 foot, 6'1"?
Yeah, just 6'1", I believe.
Yeah.
So,
6'3" is that's kind of that big old X on your chest right there.
Well,
that's what I asked. Is he a twitchy? Is he a twitchy kind of guy, or was he just a smooth guy?
I think he's got both, honestly. And I think he's too good to leave on the sideline. Like, he plays safety, and I'm looking at what Texas has at safety. It's going to be tough for him to, crack the rotation there. And it's like, he might be so good where he forces the coach's hands, and he could be one of the 2 or 3 best safeties on this team already. But like, that guy, to me, he's got to be out there somewhere. And there are a few guys like that where they might not have the clearest path to start, but they're too good to leave on the side.
If he's that kind of good, then that guy needs to be the guy coming off the edge on the punt. If he's 6'3" and long like that, and he is twitchy, that needs to be your next guy to get in there and block some punts and change the game. They haven't changed the game in that way. I think they did it twice last year. I called one game. Well, I called for one, and it happened. But I think there may have been only 2 last year. The year before, dude, they were blocking people's punts. It seemed like every other game somebody was getting a punt block and changing field position. And they just weren't aggressive last year. They just kind of laid back, and everything seemed to happen to them.
Yeah, it was bad. I would also ask one more question to Jeff Banks. Of course, he's also the tight ends coach for Texas, so I would throw in a tight ends question for him as well. Who's tight end 2? Like, we know Jack Andrews is the guy. He's going to be this team's number 1 tight end, and we've heard nothing but great things about him from teammates, from Steve Sarkisian, and I'm sure Jeff Banks is going to get asked a Jack Andrews question today, and I'm sure he's going to have nothing but high praise for the Cal transfer as well. Right. But who's behind it? Like, who's your number 2 option? Is it Spencer Shannon? Is it Jordan Washington? Is it the freshman Amari Winston? Are you putting Michael Terry there? Like, I mean, Sark likes a lot of 12 personnel. He'll run some 22 personnel. And, what if something happens to Jack Andrews, right? Like, you're going to need more than 1 tight end to be a contributor on this football team this year. Who's the guy behind Jack Andrews? I would love to know.
Yeah, I would too. Because, I mean, the number 1 guy doesn't play generally the whole year. Somebody has to come in because that guy's going to get an ankle, or somebody's going to step on him, or something's going to happen with him. That who's that next guy? Because he can't be just, once again, it can't be just a dude coming in there. The guy has to come in there and perform, at a pretty high level. He's got to be able to catch some balls, get out in some routes, and he's got to be value. It's got to be value guy. Like I said, there's not a lot of room. I don't know. Someone asked the question about how many guys are on the travel squad. I don't know. I don't know if it's how many you can afford. If there's a travel squad limit? Some teams have a limit. Some teams, like, if we can afford to pay for another room at the hotel or whatever, another meal, then they're coming. I mean, with the way college football is now, the kind of money that these guys are going to make, the TV money, I don't know if they can. I don't know if you can have an unlimited budget, but there will be a number that they will set, that the coaching staff will set. But they also know that everybody that's on that trip, it can't be. We don't need another rah-rah guy on the trip, Well,
I think the NCAA rule is 70. Maybe that changes with all of the other scholarship, roster limit changes that are happening right now. But like, the rule for the last few years has been 70 guys can.
Yeah, I don't see anything going down.
No, I don't think so either. But yeah, that's the number right now. At least I think that's still the number that Texas will have to work with this year. So, I mean, that's enough. That's like 30 plus on offense, 30 plus on defense, and then a couple kickers and a couple of punters or long snappers, whatever, who make the trip.
7 punters. Yeah, 6 or 7 punters.
I don't know. That'd be a bad idea if you're wasting your 70 guys on 7 punters. But yeah, I think that's the number that exists right now. All right, we'll get to some more questions for Kyle Flood and Pete Kwiatkowski. Got a few more written down. The coordinators are available today. We'll have some sound from them on tomorrow's show. Maybe we'll have some by the afternoon shows here on TSU. We'll dive into a little bit more of what we want to hear and what we expect to hear from the Texas coaches as we are 1 day away from Longhorn Fall Camp. But before we dive back into Texas football, how about our first round of sponsor shout-outs?
Folks, our good friends over at Relax the Back would love for you to come to one of their locations. If you have some problems with your back, your neck, your shoulders, your thoracic, your lumbar area, your hip area, please head on over to Relax the Back. I have years ago, and I'm sitting in my Relax the Back chair right now and feeling great before I play a round of golf. Nothing better than sitting in this chair that gives me the stability in my thoracic back that I need. And it doesn't matter if I'm sitting here for 2 hours talking with BK and talking to you folks, or if I'm sitting watching golf on a Sunday. Sitting in this chair makes my back feel great. And at Relax the Back, they can help you too. I need to have that support of my thoracic back. And as I said, whether it's your shoulders or you've got sciatica, you want to get a chair that's going to make you feel good. And it could be an office chair. It could be a zero gravity recliner. They have it all at Relax the Back. 2 locations. One is at the Hill Country Galleria. BK is at the Hill Country Galleria right across from Whole Foods. And in North Austin at the Gateway Shopping Center across from the Container Store for you folks up north. Live pain-free like the Buck at Relax the Back.
Speaking of pain-free, check out what I got this morning.
Oh, that's the number one right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's the golden oldie.
The classic grape OLIPOP.
I'll have me one of those before I hit the golf course today for the good stuff.
There's no pain when you're drinking this.
No.
This is the good stuff, as the Buck says. Classic grape OLIPOP. They've got 19 flavors of OLIPOP. This one tastes just like a grape soda. So if that's your thing, check this one out. If that's not your thing, they got 18 different options for you. And the difference between OLIPOP and the sodas that you have been drinking in the past, well, it's simple. OLIPOP is actually good for you. 9 grams of fiber in every can. It's prebiotics, botanicals, plant fibers in every can. Ingredients that help support good digestive health. Not a bunch of sugar, not a bunch of calories, not a bunch of trans fat, none of that other stuff that's in the other sodas. You only get good stuff here in OLIPOP. I'm telling y'all, this is the game changer of all game changers. I had sworn off soda for years. I am now 100% back in thanks to OLIPOP. And it's easy to find as well. You can get it the next time you're at any grocery store, HEB, Target, Walmart, Costco, Whole Foods, wherever you go. Make sure you shop OLIPOP.
Nice. You know what? I would like to ask the question of the wide receivers coach. What is the changes in Ryan Wingo over since last year? Has he made any big jump during spring camp? Was there something different about him that you may have not have seen him as a freshman? Can he get himself open? Can he get himself in position to make plays where you're not having to scheme him open? Okay, we've got this schemed up that you're sitting in this zone. Here you go. Or do you attack people with a guy like that? Do you feel like you can attack individuals with that guy? Is he ready to do that kind of stuff for you? I'd like to know if he's made that step, because that's going to be crucial for this team, that he's made a step where, it won't always be about scheme, because I know Sark can scheme him open, but can they attack a certain guy because of Wingo, because they just can't cover him?
Yeah, well, we won't be able to ask questions to the position coaches. It's only the coordinators who are.
Yeah,
available.
well, I'd ask the coordinator that. I'd ask him that. Do you feel like that guy has made that kind of progress so soon? I know it's easy to say, but he's going against the best defensive backs every day in the country. He's seeing those guys at practice, so it's not like you're going to go against somebody from these other teams that are better than the guys that he practices against.
Right. Yeah. No, Ryan Wingo is a huge piece for Texas this year, and he has to get better. I mean, he was fine as a freshman. I thought he was almost more of a gadget guy than like a true receiving threat in this offense. I don't think that's a slight to Ryan Wingo. There were other receivers with more experience ahead of him on the depth chart, and we talk about it all the time. Sark keeps a pretty tight wide receiver rotation. Well, now Ryan Wingo's at the top of that tight wide receiver rotation. So he's got to up his game. And, yeah, he's got to put up some gaudy numbers for this Texas offense, and hopefully he has taken a few steps. And, again, he got LASIK surgery earlier this offseason, so I like hearing that. And it sounds like he's 100% healthy going into the start of training camp. So I'm expecting big things from Ryan Wingo. I think he has, like, the most number one potential of any Texas receiver this year. Maybe some, like, freshmen who down the road could have him beat in the full ceiling compartment. But for this year, I think Ryan Wingo is your most likely guy to be your number one wide receiver. And, your number one guy last year Matthew Golden had 58 catches for 987 yards and 9 touchdowns. I wouldn't hate that for Ryan Wingo.
That'd be incredible. That'd be a great leap right there into your sophomore year right there.
That would basically be doubling his numbers. Like, he had 29 catches last year. So what, 58 would be exactly double that.
Sure.
472 yards and 987, just pretty much or very close to doubling that. And Wingo only had 2 touchdowns. Matthew Golden had 9. So, Golden was such a great red zone threat.
Yeah, I mean, this guy has to be a red zone threat too, because he's a big-bodied guy.
Yeah.
Because I think you're gonna get. I think you'll get the kind of play that you want out of the tight end position. I'm not going to say it's going to be better. I know everybody thinks this guy is really something. I don't know if it'll be better. If it's close to what you got last year, then and if your wide receiver takes a step up to where he's gotten much better, because he's got a high ceiling. There's no doubt about it. His ceiling, once he gets it and can play outside the box a little bit, and they allow him to do that, that's going to be fun for him and Arch. I got to believe. When they start making up shit on their own. Like drawing plays in the sand, in the huddle, they look at each other and wink at each other like, okay, I know what you're going to do. That's not quite what we have in this route, but if you do it, I'm going to throw it to you, and we're going to make this happen. When those two get to that point, those two dudes will be hard to stop because athletically they're just superior guys. So I just don't know. It'd be nice to know from the wide receiver coach himself if somebody could ever get to him and ask him that question. Got to find a way to get that question to him. Is that guy ready to be kind of outside the box guy yet? Because once he is, and Arch Manning and him are on the same page, wow.
Oh, man. Yeah, and they start to see the game the same way, right? And you get to those scramble drills like you're talking about, and they both know exactly where each other's going to be. And
they've been throwing each other. They've been throwing each other for a year.
Little catch. Of course, they both went to Ryan Wingo's camp that he held in St. Louis a couple of months ago. So, the chemistry's there. We've talked about it a lot. Like, you've got a lot of guys who were number 2s last year who are going to be number 1s this year. And, well, that means at practice last year when they were running with the 2s, they were working together. So, obviously, game reps a little bit different, but you're practicing with the same guys for multiple years. That should help with that chemistry.
Yeah, and what you can't have is the real drop-off from Moore. He can't now all of a sudden be like he was later in the season last year, like I thought that guy in the beginning of the season was just going to be a guy. He can't not, he's got to be better than a guy. He started off the season and they were going to him. Quinn was throwing the ball to him. He felt really confident. He was making the plays. He was getting open. And I know people had to be surprised. I was definitely surprised that Moore came out to be as good as he was. I didn't, until we were told that he had a toe injury, it was like, oh, he's now just becoming the guy that I thought he was going to be. He's not, but but finding out it was due to a toe injury, because he could have had a fabulous season last year if it weren't for that toe, it seems like.
Yeah, that he dropped too many passes. DeAndre Moore was
he wasn't consistent enough, but he was good enough. I mean, he had made a lot of plays.
Oh, the talent's there. He's a great route runner. He's got speed. Like, he was better than I thought he would be last year.
Right.
And, we talk about it a lot. Like, Jonte Cook was the number 1 receiver in his class. Jonte Cook was supposed to be the receiver who took that big year 2 leap in 2024. Right. And, we know where Jonte Cook is. Actually, I don't know if we know where Jonte Cook is now, but he's not with Texas anymore. And DeAndre was the guy who did take that big step. So, I mean, I loved what he did. If he takes that type of jump from year 2 to year 3, then he is going to be a great weapon. But that to me is the one thing DeAndre Moore really has to clean up. Obviously, he's got to stay healthy, but he had some dropsies last year, and can't have that.
No, he doesn't have the kind of hands that Matthew Golden had. That wasn't even close. No, Matthew Golden made all the catches. The low ones, the high ones, the out jump you ones. The simple ones coming across with speed, ball hitting him on a dead stride. He had soft hands. He had very good hands.
Yeah, he did. Good stuff. Yeah, a couple other questions. I mean, Kyle Flood, he's the offensive coordinator, but his main job at Texas is to be the offensive line coach. So the obvious question is, hey, who's your starting 5 going into training camp on the offensive line? And more specifically, I want to know if Brandon Baker's ready to be this team's starting right tackle going into year 2. 5-star recruit out of high school. Didn't play much last season, didn't have to play much last season, but he has a very important role on this offense here in 2025. Is he ready to go, or is there still going to be some competition there over the next month to figure out, like, do we have a better option than Brandon Baker for the Ohio State game?
Yeah, you got to get that. That has to be down. He'll know. Once again, I don't know if he knows who his twos are right now. I think his twos are in competition with, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going different positions. Guys are playing both guard and tackle. Somebody's got to be that backup center. Somebody always has to be ready at center. So you're trying to find out who your second guy is, the one that you can depend on, because he could be your second guy at like 3 different positions,
Right.
If you have a guy that you depend on as close to being a starter, but he's not as good as the guy who starts, that guy is playing about 3 or 4 different positions. So if somebody goes down, you just pencil him right in as the next guy. Sorry, you used to play guard, but you'll be playing tackle this week.
I think Texas has a few of those guys. I know they've been cross-training a couple of their guys, but yeah, depth along the offensive line is important. Again, Texas got pretty lucky last year from a health standpoint. Obviously, down the stretch, Kelvin Banks got hurt, and then Cam Williams got hurt. But the Horns started the same crop of offensive linemen in all 12 regular season games in 2024. So if that happens again, great. Your depth won't be tested, but odds are it's not going to happen again because guys get hurt at that position all the time. So yeah,
somebody said the kid Cook is with Syracuse.
That's where Jonte ended up. Okay, thank you, Patrick.
Well, you know what? He's with the right coach because that guy's the genius, remember?
Oh, right. Yeah, Fran Brown, who was he ahead of Steve Sarkisian on that list? He was.
He's ahead of him. He's one of the great recruiters of all time. I'll just say this. I wish that kid all the luck in the world, and for that coach, good luck, because that is an odd place for a kid from the Dallas-Fort Worth area to be going to school. That will be a life change for him. And if he can survive that and he can keep his nose clean there and get things going in the right direction, athletic wise, maybe his life will change. Maybe that's a spot that he needs to be. But good luck to them and that coaching staff with trying to keep that guy in line in Syracuse, New York, when the fall comes.
Oh, Jonte Cook's well-traveled, isn't he? I mean, from Dallas.
Yes.
He obviously started his college career in Austin. Remember, he was at Washington for like 2 days. That's where he transferred after he kind of got kicked off the team.
A little wet up there for him, wet and cold.
And then didn't show up and got kicked out of Washington right away. I mean, basically before practice even started, they told him to leave. And then now he's going from the Pacific Northwest to Syracuse, New York, on the complete opposite side of the country. So, yeah, very well traveled. I'm with you. I hope it works out for Jonte.
I do. I hope it works out for Syracuse. I really hope it works out for that kid. And it's a life-changing move for him, not just an athletic change, but that he can get through a season without getting in trouble, just trying to be just a regular guy there without going to jail up in Syracuse, because they will throw you under the jail in upstate New York. They don't have time for that. They got enough. It's cold enough. They don't need a problem when it's cold.
No, they don't. No, they don't. And, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Jonte Cook can make any sort of impact for the Orange this year. It's a high-powered offense. They fling the ball around the yard.
Yes.
So, an opportunity if Jonte just gets his head screwed on straight to make some things happen. But those are
a lot of opportunities, kids. Let me tell you something, kids who's not in the car line, you don't get that many opportunities. You got to be pretty good to get those kind of opportunities, right? That guy's got numerous opportunities. Everybody deserves a second chance, but not everybody gets a second chance or a third or a fourth. It just doesn't happen that way all the time. Sometimes you get one chance, and that's it.
That's how it works, especially in sports. If you're talented, they will look over some things to keep giving you chances to prove that you're worth it. And Jonte Cook, former 5-star, one of the top receivers in America, coming out of high school, out of DeSoto a few years back. And, hopefully the third stop can be a charm for him and things can turn out okay. But, I don't know, who knows? All right. Last question for Kyle Flood is one that you brought up. How do you fix the red zone offense?
Yeah.
It's got to be fixed. And Sark's been open about it, and I appreciate that. That was the first question Steve Sarkisian was asked in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. And he's like, yeah, that's been our point of emphasis this offseason. So, ask Kyle Flood, hey, what have you done? Don't just tell me you're working on it. Like, what have you actually done to make your red zone offense a lot better? Because it's literally the reason why you've lost your 2 playoff games in these last 2 years. So how do you do a better job of getting into the end zone once you get inside the red zone? That's a huge focal point, and that's like the number one thing this team needs to get better at this year on any side.
And then they've got another coach they've added, Neil Brown. I mean, a guy who they ran the ball with their big back pretty well. He's probably got some different types of schemes and things like that. And they don't mind talking about the assistants or the guys that they bring in, these coaches that they brought in over the last couple of years that have really helped them out. I mean, this is one. I'd like to find out what is he doing? What's his part in this when it comes to scoring zone, short yardage, offense, things like that can help this team out instead of toss sweep at the one.
Yeah, I think there are 2 reasons why the red zone offense is going to be better this year.
Well, actually, the quarterback for one.
3 reasons why. Well, number 1 is it can't get worse.
No, okay. I would agree. It can't. It can't. It just they can throw you and I in there and hand us the ball. We got a chance. It can't get worse than it was last year. I agree.
If they just handed it to us on like a normal, traditional, A-gap handoff, then we wouldn't have lost 7 yards. We might have lost 2 or 3.
we got rejected.
We wouldn't have gone as far back as Trey Wisner did on that toss sweep. Number 1 is it can't get worse. Number 2, it's the quarterback. But it's more than that. It's more than just like Arch Manning. I mean, the best red zone offense that Steve Sarkisian has had at Texas was in 2021 when they were 5-7. It's like, well, how does that make sense? Well, they had Hudson Card and Casey Thompson who could both move at quarterback. So just having a quarterback who can move, like Quinn Ewers was a statue back there. That was obviously not one of his strengths. So I think like we've seen, small sample size, bad year. We don't want anything else from 2021 showing back up here in 2025. But like that year was the best red zone offense that Texas has had under Sark. Hopefully just having that quarterback who can scoot a little bit and the threat of that QB run game is going to help out there.
Once again, we don't want to see a lot of that, though. I know we want to see first downs, but we don't want to see a lot. I don't want to see a lot of called runs. I want to, if it's optioned that way, and your option is I'm 6'4" and I can fall for a 2-yard gain for a touchdown or a first down. Okay, no. Jerry Jones, don't take it all the way to the sideline and pitch it when he's sitting on the bench. You know how I used to run that option there. I used to run that wishbone, and I'd go down the side and wait till the last second, and when the defender committed, I would flip it out there. I don't want to see a lot of that. I want scores and everything else. I want to see that some of that stuff happen naturally with Arch. Give me 1 or 2 runs in a game. I don't need a series of 6 or 7 quarterback runs because there's going to be a bunch. I'm going to say there's going to be a bunch of them in the pass game. You know, they're always going to talk about his arm and his accuracy and his ability to throw the deep ball and really throw balls on a rope. But I'm going to say you're going to see a bunch of natural quarterback type of play out of him where he drops BK and there it is, the first down right there, and somebody's not over there where they're supposed to be, and he goes, "Bye, y'all."
And I'll be yelling, "Get down!"
Yeah, I know you'll be the guy in the stands. I'll be like, "You get down." Yeah. The first couple, he's going to say, "You know what? I ain't getting down. I got 6 more yards that I could pick up right here." And then look at that little secondary guy that's going to come up and try to take on this 6'4", 235, 200. They don't want any of this. He's going to be that guy. He's going to have to be told that because he's going to want to be that guy. You know that, right?
I'm sure he has been told that. And I hope Arch Manning maybe learned a lesson in the Ohio State game. Remember, he played 1 play in that semifinal.
He did get dinged, didn't he?
And it was a 4th down. He converted it, but he got popped by Lathan Ransom and almost fumbled the ball. They had ruled him. There was a review on the play, but they had ruled that he was down, and it was the correct call. But, I mean, we didn't see him the rest of the way. There were rumors that he got concussed. He said he wasn't, but, he was clearly dinged up, and hopefully that's the type of hit that's, encourages Arch Manning to slide and give himself up.
Nah, that's not the one. That wasn't hard enough for him.
that's not the one. I don't know what's going to be the one. I don't want to find out what the one is. All right. Orleans, still the one. I don't want to find out the one.
No, the one is when the ball comes flying up and straight up into the air. His helmet gets, that helmet comes off.
No.
There's a possibility of a targeting call, but it was just a good hit with the helmet square in the chest. That's the one that makes you stop doing that.
It's pretty damn close to what happened. Like, there was almost targeting on that play. He almost lost the ball. He was like an inch away from
almost don't count. Come on,
Well,
the guy's a big athlete. Almost don't count. You know how many little secondary guy, 190 pounders, he's going to want to attack with that big body to show he's one of the boys?
Well, there's a time and place.
I don't need it. But I just got a feeling that's how that's going to work out. Unless Sark has unless his uncles and Sark have driven that into his mind, dude, hey, you got a first. We don't need any more than that. Like I used to tell those guys, catch the ball for a first down and do me a favor, fall down. You don't need to be a hero. I don't want you waving at your mom, telling them, I don't want to hear you talking in the newspaper how I had to get that extra 4 yards for the team. I don't want to hear any of that shit. Just catch the ball and fall at the first down marker, and you've done enough. You've been a hero enough to do that.
You're a receiver. No, keep running.
No,
what do you mean?
no. If you're a running back and you're the fifth string running back and I put you in the game to get the first down, that's what your specialty is. When you hit that marker and you caught it and it's a first down and they go, first down, do me a favor. You fall down. Trip yourself if you have to. Just hand the ball to the officials. Fall on your knees. You can take a hit from behind, but once you're all curled up with the ball, you stand up, give it to the officials. I don't care if you had 8 more yards that was straight away. You better not try to get that extra 8. I would yell at a guy why did you take 2 more steps? What are you doing? Coach, there was nobody there. Well, trip yourself and fall down, you idiot.
Oh, my God. That's why you're not coaching anymore, I think.
No, that's right. You know why? Because you know what? Because guys will try to be individuals now. I wouldn't have any of that shit. I don't need you to be a hero. Hero is not the name on the back of your jersey, fool.
Being a hero, trying to get more yards for your offense? And so when did that become being a hero?
You were a hero when you caught the ball. As soon as you fell down and got a first down, you're a hero. Now come over here to the sideline so I can pat you on the helmet and tell you good job. I don't need you taking 2 more steps because you wanted your girlfriend wanted to see you make a move after you caught the ball. She's wondering why you catch the ball and fall down all the time. Yeah,
you're more of a hero if you have a 20-yard catch versus a 15-yard catch.
No, Coach Bucky told me to catch it and fall down. And if I continue to do this, guess what? You're going to see me waving from you on the sideline. That's what's going to happen.
I'm so confused here. I've heard a lot of things from a lot of coaches over my time. I've never heard a coach say, hey, we need fewer yards. Don't get more yards. If you have a chance to get more yards, don't even try. Just fall down. I don't care what position you play. Just fall down. We don't need more yards as an offense. We're cool with making life harder on us for the next
and Jason.
Play.
Jason thinks that's an unpopular take, Bucky. That's not that's a smart take. You have a job to do. Do your job. I didn't ask you to do any more. Just do. Hey,
all people in your generation say football's gotten soft. I didn't realize it was so soft back then. It was softer back then than it is now. Apparently,
it's not
telling
being
guys
soft.
to get down.
Being smart. That's being smart. You don't get that opportunity. You don't get to be the guy. You get to be the guy I want you to be in that case, because that's what I practice with you all week long is you make the move, catch the ball, get on the ground, first down. Here we go. Now you run to the sideline and come visit me. I pat you on the head. Go have some Gatorade.
Coach, I could have had a touchdown if I just kept. I don't give a shit. You got the first down. That's all we need,
dude.
Get down.
Those dudes that I put in the game for those certain plays, they weren't going any further than the 2 steps of the guy. The only thing they would have had was a chance to get hit and fumble the ball. That's it.
Who are you coaching then?
Do your job. I was making it so everybody was a part of certain games that would get in and do their part, and they had a part and they understood the part.
This is like the walk-ons here. I mean, it's
close to it, damn close to it. It wasn't the Rickies and Priests of the world. It was guys that were down the line that would go into games and do certain things, and they practiced that all week long. I did it at Boston College. I did it at Illinois, and I did it at Texas. And I didn't particularly want you doing anything else. I didn't ask you to do anything else. I didn't ask you to go above and beyond. That's for somebody else, not for you.
You're the guy volunteering at Special Olympics, and when the guy catches the ball, you're saying get down. Everyone else is like encouraging him, go score, go to the touchdown, get a touchdown. And you're like, no, get down. You already caught it. You're done. Get down. Get down. This is
not Special Olympics. This is major college football, and this is what your job is. Hey, have you ever heard of do your job?
Yeah.
You've heard that before, right?
Your job is to score a touchdown. If you can score a touchdown, go score a touchdown.
No, dude.
Oh,
that's how I survive. I had a lot of guys that just do your job. I had other guys that could do above and beyond. I didn't ask you to go above and beyond. I just asked certain guys to do their job.
Oh man, well, in the NIL era.
Hey, and I'm sorry about your girl. Hey, and if your fat little girlfriends didn't like that, too bad. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh man, thanks, Coach.
And if it happens to be their fat little girlfriends, too bad.
Yeah, it's too bad. Yeah.
If your fat little girlfriends are mad that your coach is telling you to not play football, then it's too bad. It's too bad. Tough. All right.
You could play football, but you'd be playing somewhere else.
Right.
You wouldn't be there on a Saturday afternoon. By the way, a lot of those coaches you wouldn't even get a chance to do that stuff with. You wouldn't get a chance to go out there and be in there on third down, crucial situations that a coach trusted you. They would trust the star. The Rickies and the Priest Holmes of the world would be the guys doing those things. You wouldn't be the fourth-string guy, and all you did was do a certain thing. You wouldn't get to do that. And people knew who you were when you went out there where the ball was coming. And all you had to do is do one thing. You were the hero when you could sit in the zone or beat a guy one-on-one. You did your job.
They could have been more of a hero.
And if you effed up and made two moves on a guy and that ball came out, guess who's coming at me? Everybody.
Well, what if they didn't fumble? They made two moves on a guy, broke a tackle, and turned it into a 20-yard gain.
Hey, if they were that good, they would have been the ones who were getting the ball on 1st and 10, not 3rd and 6.
Third down's a bigger play. What do you mean? Third down's a more important play than first down. What is this logic here?
If they were that good, I would turn around and hand it to them on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down. If I thought they were that good.
My head hurts from this. I'm so confused.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, this is bizarre here. All right, we'll take your thoughts. Should Texas receivers fall down as soon as they catch the ball this year? Should Trey Wisner fall down as soon as he picks up a first down this year, or should they keep running? 5-1-2.
Oh, he should keep running. He's the number one guy. He has the ability to catch and run. We've seen what he can do. He's not just a guy that has a certain role. He has a big part of what happens on the offense. The guy had over 1,000 yards rushing. Hell, he better not fall down. He better make two guys miss in the open field and go and give me some more yardage. I would expect that of him.
If he's being coached by you, he might be confused after this past segment.
Hey, by the way, if he's being coached by me, he would have had 1,800 yards. How's that?
Probably not true, but I like the confidence right there. All right. We'll take your thoughts. The Dakota text line 512-222-9328. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch chats are rocking and rolling as well. How about Henry Melton from the 1-yard line? Oh, I'm sure you'd love that, Buck. A defensive lineman.
Yeah, but he was once a fullback. Remember, he was once a fullback, so he has carried the ball before. I would be okay with him. He was a big old back. I mean, that guy was a thumper. He wasn't just in there as a defensive player. That guy at one time was a running back, so he knows how to carry the ball. He knows how to take hits. He had pretty good body lean for a big guy, and he was kind of an upright guy. It was hard for him to get. It's hard for that big guy like that to get down.
Yeah, no, he was a running back. That's what he was recruited as, and then just got big and turned into a D lineman and had a good career in the NFL doing that. It's a good bit right there. All right, let's get a few more sponsor shout-outs. We'll dive back into the Texas football talk. Again, coordinators available today. What you would want to ask the coordinators if you were given the opportunity. We've got some Dallas Cowboys news to dive into in hour 2. And a few other stories from around the world of sports and beyond. But before any of that, how about a few more sponsor shout-outs?
Folks, if you're seeking that patient-focused orthopedic care, contact the experts and our friends at Texas Orthopedics. Their physicians offer comprehensive surgical and non-surgical care for children and adults, spinal care, sports medicine, trauma care, joint replacement if that need be. Dr. Danny, Dr. Stockton, really good guys and dedicated orthopedic surgeons there, and their goal is to get you right back into good health and the great quality of life that you deserve. Texas Orthopedics is the largest independent orthopedic practice in the state of Texas. For more information, go to txortho.com.
Yes, indeed. And some love to our friends at centextickets.com. We are 32 days away from Texas, Ohio State. If you're making the trip to Columbus and you need tickets to the shoe, they got you covered at centextickets.com. If you don't want to travel for any road games, the good news is every home game, you can find tickets online right now at centextickets.com. It's Texas football. It's A&M football. It's Baylor football. It's Texas Tech football. Whoever you root for. Plus, Cowboys and Texans tickets as well. They are your one-stop shop for football season tickets all year long. Don't forget to use our promo code CENTEX10 when you check out. You're going to get 10% off of your ticket purchase at centextickets.com.
And, of course, our good friends over at Sue Patrick, that incredible selection of Texas Longhorn apparel, collectibles, accessories, and they got tons of Texas-themed items over at Sue Patrick's. BK's wearing that hat of his, of course. And they offer free shipping on online orders, $49 or more, and free curbside pickup, and plenty of parking space at 5222 Burnett Road. Don't forget the scheduled glasses and T-shirts are available for you at Sue Patrick's, and so are the Jelly Cats. For more information, go to SuePatrick.com.
Yes, indeed. And a quick shout out to the Hecht Law Firm as well. Ryan Hurricane Hecht, your go-to personal injury attorney right here in Central Texas. If you or somebody you know gets hurt in a car accident, gets injured on the job, if a dog bites you, whatever, reach out to Ryan Hurricane Hecht. He's been a friend of mine for over a decade. He's been fighting for justice and big results here in Central Texas for a decade, and he's going to fight to get you what you deserve. He's going to be there with you every step of the way. When you call the Hecht Law Firm, you are going to get to work with Hurricane Hecht, not some random jabroni who just finished law school. No, that's what you get when you call the lawyers that you see on those TV commercials and on the sides of buses. When you call Hurricane Hecht, you're going to get to work with Hurricane Hecht. And again, he's going to fight for you every step of the way. And the best part, you don't pay unless he gets money in your pocket. It's as simple as that. 512-938-8929. You can find him online at hechtlawfirm.com. That's HECHT lawfirm.com.
Sweet. Love it.
Speaking of Sue Patrick and Jay and the gang.
Yes.
Jay sent me a picture yesterday. He thought that he ran into your son at some bar. I didn't ask where he was, but Jay sent me this picture and is like, is that Bucky's son?
No, that's not. I had to tell him, no, that's not, Jay. I said, we don't all look alike.
Oh, he said
if
that
you know
to
what
you,
I mean.
Jay? Oh, man, no disrespect.
No disrespect.
He sent that to you, too? I thought that was just going to me.
Yeah, he sent, he sent that to me. The guy said he can tell there's a little resemblance. And I said, no, dude, no, that's not my son.
What is
although my son is probably around that age.
Okay, so similar age to your son. Any other similar qualities?
No, my son has hair.
That is different. Maybe he assumed because you're bald, like your son would be bald.
And I have a long head like that. Yeah, that was kind of similar. Yeah.
Similar.
But no, I sent him back. I sent him back. We don't all look alike.
Similar-ish facial hair to you? No?
I guess.
What you're rocking right now, the gray.
Yeah, I'm much prettier.
You're prettier than this guy?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Now, back in the day, I could be seen at a bar hanging out with a big one in front of me, but I wouldn't have a big drink like that in front of me. That thing's way too big. I just have a chaser.
Yeah, you would just have you had the whole bottle in front of you, right?
Well, at certain places, if I was at certain saloons, they would slide that down, like the old times, just slide it down and let me get a little pour in there, and I'd send it back. How much is this bottle going to cost me? Because that's going to be my bottle.
Yeah, don't waste your time filling this. Just give me the whole bottle.
Yeah. Let me do it. Let me kind of pour it myself. We won't tell anybody.
You weren't much of a beer guy, were you?
No, it was just chaser. Bud Light was just a chaser because it was it was so watery. I didn't drink Bud Light just because I like the taste of Bud Light. I drank it because it made a good chaser, you know?
I question anybody who drinks Bud Light because they like the taste. You
Yeah, it
gotta
just it
literally.
doesn't have any taste. It's just water with some fuzz in it that made that Jack. It just cracked the Jack Daniels a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't. I grew up doing those Boilermakers. You know, dropping a shot of Jack in a beer into the beer and then downing the whole thing.
Yeah. I
That
like
was
that.
awful. Those were awful. Those were awful times. And by the way, folks, I'm about 2 weeks, getting ready to be 2 weeks away from 25 years of sobriety. 25 years, a quarter of a. How about that?
Wow. That's awesome.
That is so hard for me to believe. That from where I came from and what I did and how I did it, that's still it's nothing now because it's just not part of my life. But boy, that's quite the feat. When I go places and I deal with, you know, Tito's and I have booze all around me, dude, I would have drank up everything. There wouldn't be any Tito's left. And I wasn't a, you know, I didn't drink gin. I didn't drink a little bit of everything. I drank when I got to hard stuff, I drank one thing and I didn't play around with it. I didn't add ice to it. I didn't mess with it because I thought that was like the pure heaven. Just straight up Jack Black.
You were drinking Jack Black's what?
No, just Jack Black out of that. Drink it, put it in a glass. Not even a shot glass. Put it in a glass. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Why are we wasting time? Would you like ice? I'd be like, ice? What are you going to screw up? Hey, don't waste your ice. Leave that for somebody else. Somebody else needs that ice.
Yeah, they're starving kids in Africa. They need the ice.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, man. Coming up on 25 years. Tremendous feat.
And not, you know what? I would say after the first 3 or 4 years, it was kind of smooth sailing. That first year was hard and hard and hard. I was just thinking, when am I going to relapse? My deal in my life was, when will it happen? Because generally it happens in that first year. And I was like, nah, dude, this is not happening. I made a promise to myself, and people hated the promise. And my first wife thought it was the dumbest thing, but it was true. I said, the day that I drink will be the day that you read about me in the paper or hear about me on the news, because that's going to be it. Because I know what the outcome of drinking again will bring to me and my life and the people around me. And I said, and I don't want to be around for that. And people talk about being a coward to go out that way. I would have gone out. I made that promise to myself. If that's how much I decided that I would never drink again, is the fact that that's what I would do to myself, because I knew what the outcome would be from that point on. So it's never happened.
Yeah, it's cold turkey like that, man. That's
as cold as it gets right there, because you have relapse in this business of alcoholism or addiction. You're going to have some setbacks, and to get through. And that whole thing was because of the people I was around and the coaching and everything else, and the discipline that I had to have. That's part of being around guys like Tom Coughlin in my life. You know, John Malkovich, people that you would think that don't have that. How did they really influence you? That's a part of that whole sobriety, being around those kind of people. You know, being around some of the nuns, the people that were dedicated and what they did. You know, that's all a part of it. That's all the life experiences for you to get through some of that stuff, you know, for like a guy like Deion Sanders. I mean, the guy lost his bladder.
Yeah.
And still wants to coach. Wow.
Yeah.
That would be a hard one right there. There would be some other things that I would, if I lost my bladder, would think about even at his age to battle that. But he still wants to do the things that he feels like he does best, and be around those kids is what he wants to do. And, you know, I wouldn't have blamed him yesterday and said, you know, I've got to step away from this. I don't want porta potties on the sideline. I don't want to see people seeing me piss in my pants. I mean, those things are for real now with him in his life, and not just on the sideline, just walking down the street, you know, just getting in his car. Those are things that can happen to him at any time now, but he's ready to just go on with it.
When's the anniversary?
It's the second week of August.
Okay. Coming up a couple weeks from now.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome stuff. And look, the good news is your next of kin is carrying on your legacy.
Somebody asked me what, you know, in my life, I always said, hey, don't I deserve to have a nice glass of wine if I can hit 80? And that would be called stinking thinking.
Stinking thinking.
Why would you do that? And I'm thinking, and some of me thinks like, what's that really going to do? But the other thing is, why would I do it? What's the reason?
Right. What's first things first? Live
Absolutely.
and let.
Get me through the next 2 weeks. Get me through the next couple of weeks.
Amen. Yeah, no, not the way to celebrate 25 years of sobriety with the beer. That's very counterintuitive. That takes away from the last quarter century if you're doing something.
Oh no, I've had people that have known me that would have said to me, so now since you haven't had a drink in 25 years, don't you think that you can go out and have a couple drinks and then go back to being sober again? And I'm like, but why? Why would I?
Right.
Why would I do that? Why would that even come into my mind? But people are saying you're not truly an alcoholic if that were the case. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, why would I think about doing that just to test? Why would I? What's the test? I've already had the test. I failed.
I don't want you thinking about that even. You're doing too much stinking thinking right now.
Yeah, I said I've already failed and passed the test. So let's just keep on with the passing part.
There you go. Keep on trucking. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Yeah. Congrats to our guy, Jake Bayless, who is now 25 hours sober.
Good job, Jake. Keep up the good work, man. Hey, you got to start somewhere. Hey, the most important step in the journey is the first step.
Do you get a coin for 25 hours? The people are asking.
They don't give out coins for 25 hours. No, I don't even know where my coins are. As I said, I went to 2 meetings in my life, and I would never, believe me, I would never tell people, don't go. That doesn't work. That works for a lot of people every day. You know, AA has worked for people for years and years and years. Did not work for me. It just made me think that I need to get back to drinking or smoking or something.
Yeah. Well, whatever works. For some it does, for some it doesn't. But as long as you find your path and whatever gets you where you need to go, that's the big thing. And you found yours, and it's worked for almost 25 years, man.
No, and I've got enough little weird medical problems that I wouldn't have survived that. That at the pace I was going, my survival rate to had hit 7.0 would not have been good.
No. And we didn't need that. We didn't need to lose you early.
Or running into somebody's kid or something else. Or it just, to get to that place, I was very, very lucky. I was very lucky I didn't kill myself. I didn't kill somebody's daughter or son or crack my car up. And that's all luck. That's not skill. And anybody that tells you how they're so much more alert when they have a couple drinks and, they're really, you're just lucky. That's all. It's just luck. It has nothing to do with skill.
You keep tempting fate. One of these days, your luck might run out.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
Sure. All right. Good stuff there. Keep the texts coming in. And, of course, we'll celebrate the Buck in a couple of weeks. We'll celebrate it right now, but, of course,
celebrating Jake. It's 24 hours, man.
That's impressive stuff right there, man. That is hard.
Yes, it is.
Hard, but he has found a way to do it. All right. In about 24 hours, Texas football fall camp will begin. Buck, we've been doing a position-by-position preview of Texas football and kind of talking about some of the biggest storylines going into camp at each position on the roster. Yesterday, we did the defensive line. Last week, we talked about the offense. Today, we're talking about the linebackers. And for my money, this is the best position on the team. And for my money, it's the best linebacker room in the country. And I'm not alone with that sentiment. You've got the Phil Steele college football Bible here. He has Texas with the best linebacking unit in college football. Have the Athlon Sports Preview Mag in the other room. They have Texas with the best linebacking room in football. This group is stacked, so there aren't a ton of questions going into training camp because it feels like most of them have kind of been answered, but just kind of want to get your thoughts. I did write down a couple of things, but wanted to get your takes on your expectations for the Texas linebackers here going into 2025.
I expect them to be really strong in the middle. I expect not many big runs up the guts when we're trying to find out what these guys on this defensive line are about. So if there are some holes there, I expect the linebackers to fill those holes and to make some great individual tackles. One of my ideas is how is Trey Moore? How is he going to be? What kind of leap is he going to take from last year in the middle of the year, at the end of the year, how good he was. Will he be that good immediately and even be a little bit better? Because I thought he was fantastic at the end. He just was a guy who was around the ball, batting balls down, making plays, making open field tackles, putting pressure on the quarterback. Where is he going to be? Is he going to come to the inside, or is he going to be standing outside this year? I got a feeling they may be sliding him because they have so much depth at the outside to bringing him inside and bringing some of that experience inside. And will it screw him up? Will he lose his aggressive play by coming inside? You know, I like the LaFau. I like the way he plays, and I think it's just a matter of him getting more experience, being around these good players. But I think Trey Moore inside, if he just from the years that he's played and what he did last year at the end, if he brings that to the inside part of it, he really can be. I mean, that guy can be a starter. I know he's going to play as if he's a starter anyway, because they're going to need guys to get a blow here or there, and that includes Hill. They all going to need blows. I mean, you just have to have 3 or 4 linebackers in this heat, and I mean during the course of the season in the SEC. It's just the way it is. But can he get better, or do we see his peak last year? But he was outside most of the time, so can he peak like that on the inside? I think, boy, they're going to be really good inside if he does.
Yeah, great minds think. That was my number one question with the Texas linebacker room is how much does Trey Moore play at linebacker versus off the edge? Like, he's going to play. He started all 16 games last year, but he started them at edge. And he came on strong late in the year, 5.5 sacks. All of them came in the second half of the season. But during the spring, he was getting some work in the middle, with guys like Anthony Hill and Leonga LaFau and Brad Spence. And I thought that was interesting, right? Like, I trust in Pete Kwiatkowski. I trust in this coaching staff. They've earned that.
Yes.
But, I thought it was weird just based on how long it took Trey Moore to kind of get up to speed, right? I mean, he had 14 sacks at UTSA in 2023. And then he had 0 sacks in his first, I think, 7 games at Texas last year. And he was solid. He was making some plays, but it was clear that there was a big adjustment from him going from the American to the SEC. And then he finally got it clicking. And I'm like, okay, just build on that. He's got this figured out, build on that and see if he could do that for a full 12 games this season. But they've been cross-training him. So I want to know, how much does he rotate in with Anthony Hill and Leonga LaFau and Brad Spence? Is he, on early downs playing in one spot, and then on third down, they're going to put him off the edge and let him get after the quarterback a little bit more? Do they, want to move?
I mean, he did fantastic. He dropped in coverage pretty well, Yeah,
he could do a good job of that. He's a very good athlete, and he's a future NFL player, and I'm glad he came back for one more year. He could have gone pro. I think he would have been drafted. I think he would have been a day 3 pick, but I think he would have been picked. Decides to come back, and that's one of the things that can maybe help him get to the next level is showing a little bit more versatility to where he can be, in multiple positions and play in multiple schemes. I don't know. I'm interested to see how that works. And like you said, how often his snaps are distributed between edge, which is what he played predominantly last season, almost exclusively last season. And, that more in the middle linebacker spot.
Who was the big dude last year, 33?
David Benda.
I think he's got more upside than David Benda, and David Benda had a fantastic 2 years in a row. He really did, because that guy was just. I was thinking of him as that. What's he going to be? He more looks like a tackle, defensive tackle, more than he did a rusher or a linebacker, and he played pretty well for 2 years. PK got him into a where he looked like a real athlete out there in space and everything else. This guy has more upside, so him inside BK, I would expect him to be even better. And, David Benda filled up some of the gaps when there were a hole. That big dude could fill up a hole pretty good because he's big. This guy's not as wide body as he is, but this guy probably can make a quicker decision and get to spots even quicker than Benda did. And I thought Benda was fantastic over the last 2 years.
Right. Yeah. 6-year player, but he really figured it out in his final 2 seasons at Texas. And you know who I want to be David Benda this year? I want Brad Spence, the Arkansas transfer.
Okay, there you go.
I think, honestly, the ceiling for Brad Spence is maybe higher than it was for David Benda. But, David Benda never set the world on fire. He was just a solid player. And we talked with John Neighbors, who covers Arkansas, at SEC Media Days, and he's like, he's just a really solid SEC linebacker. He's solid. He's reliable. He's going to do what you want him to do. He's always going to be in the right spot. He's not going to set the world on fire, make highlight reel plays, but he's just like that kind of player. And I think
he's not going to take a lot of chances. He's going to do what you tell him to do.
Yeah, and I think that's what David Benda was the last couple.
You're going to catch the ball and fall down.
Yeah,
sort of like that.
He did have a pick six a couple of years ago at Arkansas.
There you go.
So thankfully, he didn't fall down. Otherwise, it wouldn't be as cool of a story. It would just be a pick. So I don't know.
You got to have one of those guys if they're like your third or fourth guy that you trust that. Okay, this series you're going in there. We're trusting that you're going to do exactly what you need to do.
And Spence, was the third leading tackler at Arkansas last year. He was a backup. Like, he's played in 23 career games, but he only technically has 5 starts under his belt. But he was really good in the Longhorns win in Fayetteville, had 7 tackles and a sack in that game. He had 6 TFLs and 4.5 sacks last year, again, as a backup. Now, he's not starting ahead of Anthony Hill or Leonga Lafau here, but, he's going to be a rotational guy. He was one of the first transfers Texas went out and got this offseason. So they clearly targeted him. It's a guy that they liked. They liked what they saw during that game, and they heard enough good things to go out and get him. Yeah, I think Brad Spence can kind of be that David Benda dude that you're talking about for this linebacking room, and that's great because you're losing a little bit with Benda. You don't want to lose that depth that you had last season there.
Yeah, and he was, that 2 years ago, you could tell that Benda had a real chance to come on that final year. But you still weren't expecting an awful lot. You were just expecting him to be solid. He really played well on that defense last year. I think he played a little bit better than I thought even the year before that, he was better than I thought he would be. I just thought he was just a big body guy, was always going to be a step behind. But instead, in that final year last year, BK, he was the guy who was there waiting for plays, to come to him. He figured out where to be and everything else. And that's partly for him, but that's partly for the defensive staff and what they did with him in 2 years.
Mm-hmm. And I'm curious about Anthony Smith too. Going into his second year, that guy played in all 16 games as a freshman. Now, a lot of his reps were in special teams, but he had a tackle in the Clemson playoff game. So the staff trusted him enough in some big spots to throw him out there on the field. I think he's a really good player. I look at all of the guys in front of him with, again, Ant Hill and Leonga Lafau and Brad Spence and maybe Trey Moore too.
Yeah, it's hard to get in the lineup in that group right there.
Right. And Anthony Smith, we keep talking about these younger guys forcing their way onto the field. Maybe Anthony is that kind of guy. He's the only linebacker Texas signed 2 years ago, so he's pretty important for the future of Longhorn football. But is he a guy week 1 in Columbus? Hey, we put you in a playoff game last year against Clemson. I don't think he did much in the Arizona State game or the Ohio State game. I don't know if he logged any snaps outside of special teams. But do they trust him now at some point in that game at the shoe to put him out there, or is he still a little bit away from being that level?
Yeah, they're going to put a lot of guys will get in that game in the shoe that we won't know about, and all of a sudden their careers will change from that point on, good or bad.
It's a big one. Yeah. And every play it's going to be similar to last year's game where every play is going to be very important to the outcome.
Yeah. And as I said, with Benda there last year, I was always thinking that they were going to be just maybe a step behind. When he was in, they were not. He was really, really solid. And that coaching staff and the linebacker coach really got him where he was a really damn good player. A lot of teams would love to have had a guy like that playing as their starting guy all the time. Believe me, in a lot of leagues would love to have a guy like that, a big, strong guy like that could move and understand where the defense, where you're supposed to be and where the ball was going. He was outstanding.
An incredibly selfless player too, because he lost his job as last year progressed to
Right, you're right.
A lot of guys are really? I've been here for 6 years and this is how you repay me? I could have transferred. I've been through coaching changes. I've been through 5 and 7.
You're right.
You're going to take my snaps away from me right now? And he was like, no, he wore it like a champ and he continued to play at a high level and accepted his
Did he go
role
to a camp? Is he at a camp anywhere?
He's with Tennessee. So you got Gunnar Helm is there too. Obviously, Tavondre Sweat is there.
I like your horns. Okay.
Binda wasn't drafted, but is with the Titans right now.
Good.
Titans, I believe, is what they're called. That's where he is right now. And then, like, the only question with Anthony Hill is, like, is he a top 5 pick next year or top 10? Like, how good is this guy? I mean, can he win the Butkus this year? He was amazing. 113
I think
total
he's going to make a lot of plays. I think he'll make a lot of plays from the inside. As many plays as he made outside when he was one-on-one with big tackles with long arms and stuff. Yeah, hey, the running backs have short arms, and some of those guards don't move as quick when you come. And if he gets through there, and if he's into your second line of defense as your running back, look out.
That's what he was last year, and he was incredible at that last year.
Yeah.
17 TFL, second on the team with 8 sacks. He had 4 forced fumbles, 113 total tackles last year. Also had an interception. Like, he was awesome, and he is awesome. And it's like, how awesome can he be in his second year at this true linebacker spot? And, hey, enjoy him while you have him, Longhorn fans. Like, there's no debate. There's no mystery about whether or not Ant Hill's going to come back for his senior year. Like, this is it. This is it for Anthony. Like, knock on wood, Anthony Hill could get hurt week 1 and not play a snap the rest of the year. He's going pro. Yeah, he's like that, done that much in his first 2 years, and he's that just good of a player to where he's like, if he could have come out this past year, he would have been a first-round pick. So
yeah, that dude will be chasing down Lagway all over the place in the swamp. Yeah. They'll stick him on that guy, and if that guy even budges, that guy's coming at him.
Sure. That's it. And he might do that with John Mateer in the Oklahoma game. Like,
there'll be a bunch of quarterbacks that'll be on the run.
Yeah. And he did that. I mean, we saw that in game 2 of his college career. He was kind of tasked with being the spy on Jalen Milroe in Texas's win at Alabama in that 23 season. He had a couple sacks in that game. I mean, that was his welcome to college football moment.
Absolutely.
He's had a bunch of those in his career. He's awesome. He should win the Butkus this year if everything goes right. I mean, he's just that good. He is that good, and he's the biggest reason why that I think the Longhorns have the best linebacking group in the college football.
And LaFau, maybe he's the guy who needs. Maybe LaFau's the guy who needs to take the bigger step than any of them. When you think about it, he was very consistent last year. He's a really good player, but is he in that category where he takes a monster step? Can you imagine if that guy took the kind of steps some of these other guys have taken after 1 year?
He was eating at Cabo Bob's the other day, so that's a good sign.
A big step. That's a good step.
He's a good decision maker. We love that. We love Cabo Bob's as well. I think for Leonga Lafau, who had a solid year last year, 63 tackles.
What is it more so? What is it that he doesn't have? Is it just more learning, or does he have that true burst and that true ability, that speed? Why he can tackle? He's a pretty good tackler. He gets his arms around you, and you don't go very far. But is he a guy who can take a chance on missing a gap but still be there? Still making the play because he made a bad decision. That's the thing with him.
I think he has to get better playing downhill. I think he has to get better against the run. Sideline to sideline guy, good in coverage, covers a lot of ground. He's got good speed, good athleticism. I think that's a big part.
He can't play outside the box, BK. He has to play within the scheme, huh?
I think so, but I think he can improve against the run. Again, playing downhill. He's a little bit undersized. I think he's like 220. And again, modern day linebackers, you see them a lot lighter than what they used to be. They're not all Brian Urlachers or Ray Lewis size out there. But yeah, I think that's the next step for Leonga Lafau, is becoming more of a true 3-down linebacker. Felt like David Benda was in a lot of more obvious run situations last year.
Yes.
I kind of think, in the perfect world, it's Hill and Lafau. Hill, we already know, but Lafau is also like, hey, we'll rotate him out because that's what we do. But we feel good about putting him in any situation, and he can step up and make a play when we absolutely need it. Yeah,
because once again, people are going to test that defensive line and those linebackers in the run. Sorry. That's just what they do against – they just do it. They do it. I used to say they just do it against Texas. They do it against everybody. They're going to test you in the middle and see if you're up to it, because, those games in the SEC, those are for the long haul. You don't get many of them that are over in the third quarter. So they want to know if you're still going to be there the middle of the third and into the fourth. So he's got to be stout inside.
Yeah, C.J. Donaldson, all 6'1", 240 pounds of him at Ohio State. that running back.
Yeah.
He's
That guy.
going to be, and also James Peoples. Remember the name James Peoples. I hope we don't hear it a lot 32 days from now, but like
he's supposed to be the next great thing, huh?
Yeah, he's the number one guy at Ohio State. And, they got Donaldson, the West Virginia transfer, who Texas saw in 2022. Yeah, 2022, because Texas didn't play West Virginia in the final year of the Big 12.
Yeah,
but
he's a big guy with really good feet inside. But he's not one of those, I'll leave you in a cloud of dust. If you don't tackle me, I'm off to the races. He's that guy to get you, hey, he moves the chains. He can do that stuff. But if you just bring everybody with you, if you miss him, the next guy's going to get him type of guy. But he will get you in between the tackles and run you smooth over because he's 240, and he's all of the 240.
He's good. I really like his game a lot. And, that'll be a tough test for Texas and the new look Texas defensive line. And you're right, the linebackers are going to have it buttoned up early on because if the D-line's, not quite up to speed in game one, then you're going to be trying to run it down the teeth of that Texas defense, and they better be up to the task.
Yeah, and I believe it'll be a two-way street for Ohio State. They'll be as many guys as they've lost. Texas is going to come up them. They're going to test them early in the run game because Texas has to test people early in the run game because that run game has to be better, and they've got pretty good runners. So whoever plays against the Horns, it's not going to be, we think Sark is going to be dropping back, throwing all over with this quarterback. They're going to test their run game out. They want to make sure that they're able to run the football like they did at times last year. They'd like to run it more effective against better teams, but they are going to run the ball and find out if they can run against you. So it's on the other side. They're going to have to be looking out for it too, I got to believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have to. That's what Texas should be relying on early on too, is that run game. Take some of the pressure off.
And their defense.
Yeah. All right, we'll take your thoughts. Good stuff. Dakota text line 512-222-9328. Again, Texas players reporting today. The coordinators will speak today, and then tomorrow is day one of actual practice.
BK, this is the time where I'd be down there at the dorms greeting the players in and helping them move their stuff in with their families. Oh, I hated that shit. Oh,
really?
Oh, they'd be coming in with their big stereos, and you'd be, the guys that you recruited, you want to be helping them, having mom. Hey, mom, you don't have to take that. That's why I'm here today. Yeah, okay.
Moving sucks.
But that was to the dorms. They don't live in dorms anymore, do they?
Yeah.
They still live in the dorms.
Not the whole team, but the freshmen do for sure. Yeah.
They don't get to go to luxurious apartments on campus at places.
They might have an NIL deal to go rent out some dude's lake house whenever they want, but I think they're living on campus close to the stadium. Got to be there.
I wonder if all the players are they still all together there? Generally, you like them all. If they have a spot for you, that's generally what the coaches want. They want you in that little cell block with that nasty little beds that are only for guys my size, but your feet are hanging out at the end and sharing a bathroom with another dude. Yeah, that's like being in a little bit of jail.
The classic twin XL bed that they give you in the freshman dorms. That's not going to cut it for Justice Terry, I don't think.
I've seen the big boys have to sleep on those for years and years. Hey, the guys that come in and go, is this is my bed? I'm like, yes, sir. For the next 3 weeks, this is where you're going to bunk down.
God, it's where you hope you have a dweeb as a roommate, like some random nerd who's not on the football team. You're like, I'm taking your mattress too.
Yeah, we're moving both of these together. You need to go get yourself a cot here, fella.
Go sleep on the couch or something, guy. This is my room.
Love this day, boy. Love this day of going there and seeing mom and them. Oh, this is the last time you're going to see your little sweetie for the last. Oh, give him a big hug. Now get out of here. He's mine now.
Is that what you said to the mothers of children?
I'm mother of children.
Thanks, Coach.
No, I was okay with moms. I was okay carrying stuff, but I'd be like, hey, Dad, is that that's your brother? Hey, little bro, get your ass over there and get those speakers, bringing these big ass speakers to campus. We don't need all of this. Because back in the days, it was big speakers time. It was big stereo sets.
Gotta have those.
Huh?
Gotta have those.
They still got that going on.
I think. I mean, there's a lot of good small speakers now, but I'm sure there are a few guys who have the big giant
Oh,
speakers
God.
somewhere. Gotta have that. Someone's got to be the speaker guy.
Somebody's got to be thumping the music when it's, hey, it's now 11 o'clock. It's time can we all get to sleep? We have a workout tomorrow morning, and there's boom, 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 boom. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
11 o'clock. It's 2 a.m. and that's happening, sir.
No, sir. They're in bed now. They don't do that. They don't stay up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, well, that's they shouldn't be.
No, they're pretty good. Coaches will have their spies. Somebody, hey, by the way, some GA or somebody is staying on that 3 for the 3 weeks. One of their guys who wants to be a future coach is staying over there for the whole time. He's the GA and he's the dorm assistant too.
Think they're listening to that guy?
Yeah. They're like, you better not tell I'm leaving here. Yeah, I just made a deal with this group. You squeal on me and I'm up and out of here. They're going to get you.
Yeah, I'll transfer and you'll be the reason why, huh?
Yeah, how about that?
That's a threat that will work in today's
Yeah,
college
that works.
football.
Yeah, and this modern day, yeah, that works. You telling me, hey, listen, I got a little honey here that I saw when I came here to visit. I'm going to see her. And when I come back here, when you see me slide through that back door, you had better not tell or I'm leaving.
You've seen nothing.
That's right.
Remember that. You've seen nothing. All right. Bring out the Men in Black thing, that little pin that resets the memory. That's what you need right there.
Yeah, I had to sleep when I was a graduate assistant at Dartmouth. I slept up and got short sheeted and all that other shit with the other guys when I was at Dartmouth. And I had to go and do those room checks at those dorms. Oh, and this was the Ivy Leagues. And those guys were they'd be up at 12 midnight. And me, even back then, I couldn't stay. I wasn't a midnight rider. You know what I mean? I was like, damn.
They'd be up, studying for finals at midnight?
Oh, I just was called a graduate assistant. I didn't go to grad school at Dartmouth.
Oh, I didn't mean you. I meant the nerd players. Were they
they were just
midnight?
up having conversation about the day when it was time to go to sleep. You know, they're about to get up in a couple more hours. Hey, why don't you guys go to sleep and shut up? I can hear you all the way. Just go to sleep. Don't talk to each other. Just hold yourself at night. Grab a hold of yourself and go to sleep. Don't be talking to them. Don't be talking. It's time to go to bed. Boy, guys don't like to go to sleep.
They're your brothers,
they don't like to go to sleep early.
No, not in college. You sleep when you're out of college, Sleep when you're dead.
Don't you need every bit of your red? It's going to be hot. Well, it wasn't that hot up in Hanover, New Hampshire. Here,
in college, man, you better enjoy your time in college. It goes by
at
way
this
too
level,
quick.
you know what you're going to wake up to every morning in August here, That's what sucks. By the way, make sure you're hydrating yourself, all you young high schoolers out there, and you band members and cheerleaders. Hydrate. I think there was a kid that died 2 weeks ago.
No.
Or a week ago. Please hydrate yourself.
That or just in general? I'm sure there were a few kids who died last week from heat stroke, you mean?
From the heat stroke stuff. I think it was a football player. I mean, and by the way, that's on everybody to be aware of kids when they start to get a little dizzy or whatever. You start getting disoriented, that's the time to take them out, get them off. I mean, get them off before that. But if they get to that point, that's not when you say, hey, I think you'll, like I did with Ricky, and I think you'll get over it in the next couple plays. That's the time to take them out and then get them treatment.
We don't need any DJ Durkin situations popping up. Right here.
Absolutely. Every year we get it though.
Yeah, especially down here. All right, we've got a little NFL conversation to get into. We have to show the video of what happened at Yankee Stadium over the weekend. It's pretty hilarious and it's pretty unfiltered. So we'll wrap up.
You're probably making it up. If it's about Yankee Stadium, it's made up. It's fake news.
There's nothing made up about it. But in your defense, it was a Phillies fan who was responsible for.
Okay, now I got it. It's for real.
Yeah, because the Phillies were playing the Yanks this past weekend, and I think it was a guy in a Phillies hat. So I assume it was a Phillies fan who contributed to the making of what we're about to show. But before we get to any of those things, how about a few more sponsor shout outs?
Did I say hello to guys at 34 Wine and Spirits? I did say that already, didn't I? No. Hello to the guys at 34 Wine and Spirits, wholesale distributor right there, 4601 Southwest Parkway, y'all, for all your alcohol needs. We were talking about alcohol. Some of you can have it, and some of you know how to distribute it properly with yourselves and your friends, and you drive safely. You get a ride home. You don't jump in your cars when you've been drinking. But 34 Wine and Spirits, they can distribute the wine to you. They're a wholesale distributor, but they have all the wonderful bottles of wine, liquor, everything that you need right there at 4601 Southwest Parkway. But what you'll find there, you'll find the best beer in the world, Altstadt Beer, in all of its varieties for sure.
Yes, you will. Shout out to Altstadt Beer and shout out to this guy. This guy had to be drinking some Altstadt Beer, right?
That drink right there looks like Amstel Light.
Oh, God. You really hate this guy, don't you? Oh, man. Love the Altstadt Beer. Don't drink the Amstel. Don't drink the other. If you're looking for a light beer, drink the Altstadt Light because
there you go.
It does sacrifice on calories, but unlike other light beers, it does not sacrifice on taste. You're actually going to enjoy drinking Altstadt Light. It won't just be, oh, it's beach season. I've got to look good in the swimsuit. I got to look good for vacation. So I'm drinking a light beer, but I actually hate. No, you're actually going to enjoy drinking Altstadt Light. It's the best light beer that I've ever had. And hey, if you're looking for something a little different, they've got the lager, they've got the Kolsch, they've got the peach radler as well, which is a great combination of the Altstadt lager with juice from real Fredericksburg peaches. It's incredibly refreshing for these red hot summer days. Get you some at 34 Wine and Spirits or any grocery store that sells beer. It is the official beer of BK. It should be the official beer of you as well. It's Altstadt Beer. No impurities, no regrets.
I just said the word Amstel. I've never had one of those before.
You're not missing out.
I'm not?
No.
Good. I've never had that's one that I've never had it. A lot of those Canadian ones, the Molson Golden Ale, I've done that before, but I've never had an Amstel. I have no clue. That just came up. So don't think when I was at my worst that I even tasted that kind of madness. I did not.
You know who else doesn't drink Amstel anymore? I bet.
Who's that?
Well, I bet there's a chance Tom McKay had Amstel back in the day. That guy was drinking everything that he could find.
Well, he was a Molson Golden guy. He was the Molson Goldie. That's who he drank probably. Thought he was Canadian, so he drank the Molsons.
Yeah, he likes hockey so much. So yeah, that and Labatt Blue is probably down.
I've even had that. Yes.
Oh my God. Yep. Shout out to Tom McKay. Shout out to AV Consultations. Hey, we are 32 days away from Texas football. Means you got just over a month to make the call to AV Consultations to get your home TV setup done and done the right way. Don't do this yourself. Don't spend too much on a TV and then hire some jabroni off of an app to try to mount it for you. It's not going to look good. It's not going to work good. Let the pros at AV Consultations take care of everything for you. They buy TVs and speakers in bulk, so they're going to get a better price than you can get, and they'll install everything. They'll teach you how to use it, and if something isn't working right or if you want something changed, boom, just call them. They're there for you every step of the way. It's the customer service that sets AV Consultations apart. Make the call, 512-255-8678. That's 255-8678. I know Tom texted in earlier, said 25 years, that's a landmark, that's a milestone. Congratulations, Bucky. Us old guys got to stay sober so that we can keep teaching these young bucks to what life is all about. 37 years for Tom McKay.
Yeah, how about that?
Oh, what a run. What a run for
that is a great run. Yes, it is.
Love that. All right. Real quick here. The Dallas Cowboys dodged a major bullet yesterday. I don't know if you saw this, Buck, but offensive tackle Tyler Guyton. Yeah, former first-round pick out of Oklahoma. He was carted off the practice field yesterday. And the initial reports were that he had torn his ACL and was going to have to miss the entire season. Got an MRI, and the MRI revealed no damage to the ACL. It's a bone fracture. It's a bone fracture. That's what they said, but it's not going to require surgery, which is interesting for a fracture, but I don't know really anything about that kind of stuff. So I'll let the doctors make those decisions. But instead of a, full year, like 12-month recovery, it's a 4 to 6 week recovery for Tyler Guyton. And if you're curious, the Cowboys season opener is 5 weeks away from Thursday. Remember, Dallas opens up the year at Philly in the first NFL game of the season. The Eagles will hang a banner. It's going to be painful to watch. So we'll see if Guyton can be back and ready to roll for that. But yeah, best case scenario based on what was originally reported out of Oxnard yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, when you see a big dude get carted off and you know it's a knee, generally you're thinking, well, we'll see him the following year. So that's good news. No structural damage. Just got a, probably a little hairline fracture there, which they will call a break. A hairline fracture is a break when it comes to your knees or when it comes to any bones. It's still a break. So he got a break because he didn't get any ligament damage, I would believe. So 4 to 6 weeks, he should be ready to go, even with a big dude. They play with braces on anyway.
Yeah, he needs to have a much better. What's that?
They're all braced up anyway, so he's going to be in a brace anyhow.
Yeah, you're right, though. Most of those O linemen are wearing some kind of knee brace or pad or both. So, yeah, it's like best case scenario for Dallas. Guyton's got to be better. He wasn't good enough as a rookie last year, and he's obviously playing a tough position and being asked to do a whole lot. But you spend a first-round pick on an offensive lineman, you expect him to be ready to rock and roll from day one.
Yes,
and
you do.
The Cowboys obviously had a lot of success drafting offensive linemen in round one recently. The early return on Tyler Guyton, not very good. Now he's got a chance. If he obviously tears his ACL, he has no chance to right some wrongs in his second season.
Absolutely.
Now he's got a chance to make that pick look a little bit better in 2025. Did you see so we talked about this last week. The Raiders cut defensive tackle Christian Wilkins. There's a huge story in the NFL. Like, he signed a massive 4-year free agency contract last offseason with the Raiders. So he'd only spent 1 year in Vegas, and all of a sudden it felt like out of left field, the Raiders just cut him. It's like, what's the deal? What's going on? Why? He's a good player. Aren't the Raiders trying to be better? Pete Carroll, this, that, and the other. And, well, Adam Schefter reported yesterday the reason why Christian Wilkins got let go. Apparently, he kissed a teammate on the head, and the teammate took offense to it. It was an incident that happened last week inside a team meeting room. One source told Adam Schefter that the interaction was playful, but the teammate apparently didn't see it that way. And it's not known what the fellow player did following the incident, but apparently a complaint was filed to the Raiders HR department. They investigated the incident, and Christian Wilkins was let go.
That's a little soft, isn't it?
It's got to be more than that, right? There's no way it was just
that's I mean, guys do weird shit to each other all the time, and it has nothing to do with homophobic stuff. It just they just do weird shit. And a guy kissing you on the top of the head it's just weird, but it doesn't mean that he's trying to get in your pants. I mean, it all depends what the circumstance was, maybe the guy had just got his head shaved and the guy gave him a little smooch on the top of the head. I mean, I can't see that as something that you feel like the guy now is after you. I mean, that's just weird. There's more to it than this. There's got to be.
Like, I'm with you on that. It feels like this was damage control, like someone with the Raiders or maybe Christian Wilkins' agent, like, leaked this to Adam Schefter, and he's like, hey, just, it was this. That's all it was. That's all it was. And there's no way it was just that one time, right? Maybe he was kissing a bunch of dudes on the head, and it's like, dude, stop. Like, we don't want that. Or maybe it was more than a kiss on the head, or maybe, soap was falling in the team shower. And
I mean, you get that. I got that as a freshman. I got soaped when I went over and somebody stuck one of those long wooden tongs with icy hot right in my crack. I missed like 2 days of practice because I got all screwed up by some senior that I eventually ended up kicking his ass the next year.
Say that again.
When I was at one of those freshman initiation in the shower, I gave a little lean over, and some guy took some icy hot stuff and got me right in the rear with it. Just went there and went, no, with the wooden tongue, the things that you stick in, got me with one of those deals. And it hit me in the tanal area. And you talking about hot, dude. I couldn't wear a jock. I was livid. I missed like 2 days of practice because of that, from some senior thinking he was funny.
So he You dropped the soap in the shower. You bent down to pick it up. This guy had icy hot on a popsicle stick ready to go, and he just shoved it up your.
No, you're not getting a picture. Those things are the long ones like that, not like a little popsicle stick. The long, big, thick ones.
I know what the hole looks like. You don't have to demonstrate what the hole looks like. What?
No, man, guys do
heard.
weird. Guys, did it hurt? Did it burn? Did it burn with the more you put water on it? I don't know if you remember the atomic bomb stuff they used to put on people's knees and stuff like that to get you. You know, they'd wrap it and then they'd put that stuff on. It's not like the Shaq icy hot stuff that he puts on his shoulder. This stuff would, if it got in that area right there and you got that on your body, dude, it would tear you apart.
Did he at least lube you up with some KY jelly first?
No, dude, that bubbled my skin there. I missed 2 days, and I got that guy at a bar one night a year later and just pummeled him.
Because of that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I held a year and a half grudge.
Yeah, rightfully so. I never heard that story. That's tough.
No, that was the old tongs in the wonton.
Bring back hazing. Why is this not happening
No,
anymore?
dude, that was.
You can't even kiss a dude on the head. Otherwise
Yeah,
you
that's
get
what I'm
cut.
saying. That's what I'm saying. You kiss a guy on the head, and now all of a sudden he's after you or something. No, they do weird things. And what was that guy? What was his position?
D tackle.
Oh, well, of course they're weird. All linemen are weird like that. They do weird things to each other.
This is Christian Wilkins after one of Clemson's titles. He was on that team, hit the split, and then did a little twerk after that. And people are like, there might be some. There's also some videos of Christian Wilkins in his career, like in the bottom of a pile. He'll like grab an area where he isn't supposed to be grabbing.
Well, maybe he's got some issues, but he plays on the defensive line or the offensive line. They all have issues.
Yeah, that's who knows.
You know that. Those dudes have issues.
They got issues now. They got issues.
But a guy kissing me on the head, I don't know if I'm not sending him into the principal's office so he loses his job.
All right. Speaking of touching people, and
unless he's licking the top, he's licking the top of my head. Now we got a problem.
Yeah, he's Frenching your head. It's not just a little smooch. It's a full-on Frenchie to the dome.
We got a problem.
Which head is he lick? All right, we're moving on.
Now we got problems if that's where he's going.
So let's bring on the boys. Guys, we need all three of y'all to react to this together. I have a hunch, Double R and Wags, you have already seen the videos that we're about to play. Maybe you haven't. Buck, I feel like
you know damn well Double R's seen it. Double R probably gave you the video.
So this is from Sunday at Yankee Stadium, the Phillies and the Yankees.
Okay.
This is a fan recorded video.
That's all you had to say. Sunday at Yankee Stadium. That's all you had to say.
Rodney puts his glasses on. Gotta get a good look at this.
That's right.
We took the sound off of this, and we'll call NSFW. You can't see everything here, but you could see enough to kind of know what's going on. This is in the upper deck here. You got a fan a couple rows back filming. Got a guy in a Phillies hat and a girl sitting to his right. And you'll notice as this video goes along, there's the woman on the right is starting to squirm around in her seat a little bit.
Yes.
She's starting to move. Look, the legs are vibrating. There's a little wobble back and forth going on.
Watch the dude too.
And look at the guy. He's got the shades on. He's looking straight ahead, just like he's watching the game. And here's here's director's cut. Oh, now it's getting good. Now he's going to town, and she's losing control over her body.
Here it comes.
Oh man.
And there was the finish. And look at the very end. You see he puts his hand in there one final time, and then puts it right into his mouth. I think that was a lick.
And he was hungry? Wow.
Man. That is, dude, it's 95 degrees with all the sweat she probably had sitting in those upper deck seats at the stadium to go in and then lick. That's
a real man. That's a man. That's a guy for you. Yeah. Probably a defensive lineman. There's a defensive lineman move.
Probably got dried beer on his fingers and Burger Center cheese, not cheese, Bucky, dried up on his fingers too. Yeah,
dude, this is I thought the stadium was a place for families. I thought you could bring your kids to the ballpark to have a good time. And instead, little Johnny's got to witness this. Daddy, what's that? Why is she shaking like that? What's going on up there?
I gotta leave the stadium and just go out to my car in the parking lot.
I might do
Go to
that
the
like
bathroom.
at a game.
Go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So when I first
Marlins where nobody's at, those games, maybe 100 people.
You know what? That may not have been that guy's hand. That may have been a mouse got in that house,
he smells it afterwards. That's the thing.
He's smelling the mouse after? You think a mouse is just swarming around in there?
The mouse at Yankee Stadium. Oh, that's new Yankee Stadium. If that was old Yankee Stadium, I would have said a rat got into the cat. You know what I'm saying?
I honestly bought one of them plastic keychains at the gift shop.
It was bobblehead night.
I didn't know what I was watching at first when I first saw the video. I honestly
was it a little bobblehead night?
Gee,
that's what it was.
There's some bobblehead. There's some bobblehead going down.
CC Sabathia night, since he was going to the Hall of Fame.
The big burger.
I bet Jeets has done this before. Probably not in the upper deck, but I bet somewhere in that stadium, especially the old one where he played, I bet he made a few plays.
You don't think he brought some dates back there late at night and got in the stadium?
1,000%.
Mika Kelly or whoever her name was, right? Or no, wait, Mariah Carey back in the day?
Or just somebody in the stands that he saw.
That dude's got a whole diamond of those famous girls.
I'll tell you what time to be here.
I originally thought that it was it's New York, right? So my first thought was there's nobody around. Like, are they doing meth? No, that's what I thought. Like, I thought she was having like a drug reaction or a drug overdose at first.
That would have never been my first thought.
I didn't see the hand. I didn't have any audio. And then when I heard the audio, I was just like, oh, okay. She, her legs are going horizontal for a reason here. She's got something down there. All right. And then when I saw homeboy smell his fingers or taste the dish, I'm just like, wow, Jesus, dude.
When you sit a long time,
is that a Phillies fan? Is that a Phillies fan?
Of course, that's a Phillies fan. Of course it is. You think anybody from New York would act like that?
Oh my God!
God, no.
Yeah,
of course not.
Yeah.
So here's my hypothetical question. Let's say you're there with your kid. Let's say you got a young kid and you're there 3 rows back and you see this going on. What do? Do you just ignore it? Hope the kid doesn't see?
Man, I can't believe.
You start filming. Do you be like, hey, and scare them? How do you handle this?
I'd get up and leave. I just take my kid and go.
I'm putting my dad on blast right now.
He did this?
So, Dad, I know you're watching, and guess what, Pops? I actually saw my dad not do like that, but he was on a date with his girlfriend, and he reached over, and they were just having a good time, and he, tickled her in that spot, and I was just like, the hell was that? You're not supposed to do that. That was my, light bulb going on there. I think I was like 8.
Where were you at the theater? What were you guys watching? Jaws?
No, we were at Memorial Stadium. We were at Old Memorial Stadium watching watching the Orioles. You know what I mean? Watching Cal Ripken hit behind Moose Milligan.
Yes.
I don't know. I've been horny before. I've never been horny at the ballpark, horny enough to do that.
Not in that heat.
No. There's Pop.
Too hot.
Not in that heat.
No.
I have done something at the ballpark before, but it was in the bathroom, upper deck, the old Globe Life Field in Arlington, back in high school. Sorry, parents. Sorry, girl, if you're listening, but I would at the seat is insane.
Yeah,
it's insane. Like, I'd be scared, like you said, Double R, if you're like a Marlins game or the A's, I guess they don't play at Oakland, but if you're at the Coliseum, and even if there's no one in your section, I'm too scared to do this in public.
The cameraman's going to find you. The cameraman's going to find that content.
Yeah.
No,
the
closest for me was just banging some girl at the 50-yard line at Boston College at the stadium at night. Took her in there, right there at the 50-yard line. It's the same girl that I ended up having to go see the physician there on campus where all the students go when they get it. And then having to get that shot before I went to play. Went to get on a plane, and couldn't even sit down in the plane. Had to kind of stand up almost, for a whole plane ride because my bottom hurt so bad from it.
Oh,
Oh no. Yeah.
that's sick.
Anybody would bang you at the 50-yard line at the stadium and get naked at the 50-yard line. You know, you weren't the first.
It was like camping.
That
you know?
was probably like a ritual or a routine or something.
You think that was a ritual for the rest of the teammates?
She probably made that like that was your idea too, right?
Yeah. There used to be a college. I won't say which college, but it was like so when I was still in high school and about to attempt to go to college, they were like, okay, the dance team at this school, if you get them out there on the 50-yard line and they do a split, class rings will just drip out.
Oh, geez.
So I don't know, crazy things happen at the 50-yard line.
You guys
Hey,
are
Bucky, look.
unbelievable. All right, I got to get cranking. Have a great day, y'all.
A ghetto blaster. I got them big speakers.
There's some big old speakers. There's some big speakers. Y'all be good.
Later.
All right. Last thing.
So what was the
here.
hypothetical?
There it is.
This is a picture. I don't know. What is this? 5-10 years ago at the Oakland.
Is that a blow up doll?
Kind of looks like it from that far out, but no, this was at the A's Coliseum in Oakland, and yeah, they got caught. Now, these are two people, and the police actually investigated this for some reason. Which, come on, you got your own section, you're doing your thing up there, good for them.
Yeah,
when I saw that video from the stadium, it reminded me of this. I'm like, oh yeah, that was gold at the Coliseum a few years back.
Yeah, man. Remember when who was it at DKR that they put the band way up on top, the opposing band?
That was
Remember
West Virginia, wasn't it?
Yeah,
They did that a bunch.
Yeah, all of them.
there you go.
Yeah, rightfully so. Screw 'em. I don't
Turnabout
like
fair
it.
play is, I don't even know if that's what that means on this right here, but West Virginia did the same damn thing to the Texas band when Texas went there. So I don't think that constitutes a turnabout fair play, but
Put the opposing band at the Dish or put them in Moody Center. I don't want to hear from them. Don't be giving them seats. I don't like that stuff. So screw 'em.
Leave them at home. Don't need them
Leave 'em
around.
All right. Yeah, the hypothetical was what, if you're with your kid and you see that and your kid is like,
and then
Daddy, what's that?
Oh,
How do you handle that?
that's your first lesson in sexual education, I guess, right?
If I've got a boy, I'm going to send him down there. I'd be like, walk down there and stand at the end of the row. Of course, they probably wouldn't see him anyway.
Ask for a smell when you're done.
Homeboy smelled it though. Like that's the thing that,
Dude,
like,
he licked it. He licked it. It was not just a smell. It was a full-on in the mouth.
That's part of that bit, though. I mean, when you're doing that, you're supposed to do that. So
But it's like BK said, like what inning? Even if it's the second inning, you got to take a grandma's boat, a train from Trump Towers and whatever you're held. You got to hop, skip, and a jump away just to get to Yankee Stadium, man. It's a journey to get through New York.
You're doing that to your grandma?
Yeah, and you got to jump over the river too with the stick, pitfall, swing across the vine.
the good thing is that depending what all may have been going on down there, if she got up, she probably had swamp ass anyway. So if she had stained shorts, I think she had blue jean shorts.
She had jean shorts on, if I recall.
Yeah, so no big deal.
That's great.
Talk about the walk of shame, guys. The walk of shame out of the stadium.
The people behind you just looking at you, and you gotta know. At that point, you gotta know. And she's just like, "I don't care. I got mine." Right?
Yeah.
Like, what about him? When's his turn?
I was about to say, really. Where's the vid of that? I don't know.
He was just like, "Nah, it's a race, man, and I just won." That's what happened.
God bless. All right, boys. Well, happy to leave you all with that one.
Thank you, man. And now a word from our sponsors.
Sounds like time for a covert ad. That's kind of what we segue into all the time, isn't it?
Absolutely. Hey, man. Welcome to this wonderful chaotic edition of Chaos Theory on Texas Sports Unfiltered. This beautiful July 29th, man, on a Taco Tuesday.
Taco, yeah. Taco is right.
Taco Tuesday. All right, man. Where do you want to go? Oh, first and foremost, hit us up on our socials. I'm at Not the Fake Wags on Brand X/Twitter, and then the Wagner Wire on InstaFace. My partner in crime is the Rodney R on Brand X/Twitter, and then the _ Rodney R on InstaFace. Smash that subscribe button if you hadn't done so. Get those crowns. Lottery numbers are 512-255-8678. Or no, that's Tom's. That's Tom. That's for audiovisual consultations if you want your best setup. But the lottery number for the Dakota text line is 512-222-9328. Again, sorry when all the lottery numbers just rattle off in the top.
It's too many dollars.
You have a wonderful world of sports and dyslexia. Hey, everything just comes together. Where do you want to go first, partner?
Wags, I got to tell you, I'm ashamed of myself for a lot of reasons.
But the list is long but not distinguished. Why? Let's go with reason number one. Can we turn this into a bit? Why Double R's ashamed of himself?
Yeah.
And we all get a chance to guess. We should make this a Monday bit, honestly. Like something that you maybe had done over the weekend.
What did I do to myself this weekend?
Not
to myself.
He had a circus with himself.
What did I had a party with me and my hand.
Oh,
Wags,
boy.
Yesterday or over the weekend. Hook 'em. Thanks, Mark. When all else fails, hook 'em. When I saw over the weekend that Coach Prime was going to do a press conference about his health status and all this, I'm like, all right, here we go. He's about to exit stage right out of Colorado. The Suns are gone. The numbers are retired. I know he's got the feet issues and all that. Here we go. Here's the circus. Boy, was I wrong. Damn. I feel.
Oh, you thought it was coming to?
Yeah.
You thought D was coming to D, huh?
I thought this was all theatrical. Here's how Coach Prime is gonna ride on out of here after he does what he does. But man, cancer free after a bladder tumor. Holy shit! That's pretty powerful.
So he said it was this, of course, like many, right? It was discovered by getting a test on something completely different, right? On something I guess was routine. I thought I heard him mention, but then it actually, like, through the screening, there were reads in the data that said, hey, check this out, and then they had to get another screening, and then it showed what was in his bladder. So yeah, man. Hey, real quick, PSA, and I know Deion said this too, like, to get checked out. I'm like one of the guys that is, I won't say that I'm the most reluctant out there, but I went 7 years without getting checked up or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I usually don't go in unless there's something wrong with me, right?
Yep.
Like, or unless I'm hurting that bad, though, where I just, I absolutely have to go in and get something done. This time it was my feet. Like, my feet were so banged up to where I, like, cracking open and I couldn't even walk, couldn't run anymore. So things were starting to get bad. Had to make some changes, had to go see what was up with it. Thankfully, and then they did test everywhere else, I'm good. 'Cause remember, I was telling you I was having tightness, or like pains in my heart or whatever. Stress ended up being stress. But yeah, cardio is good here. Everything's great. But still, it's just nice to have all that shit out of my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not, you laying around at night worrying if you got a bad ticker or something like that, especially if you have, family history of people with, triple bypasses and stuff like that. So my granddad had heart disease. My father had, Pop has some problems with his heart. So again, it's always just good to get checked out and have that ease of mind. Got a good ticker. Rock and roll, baby.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I've talked about this before where, my dad had one of those Widowmaker heart attacks about 2 years ago. And it seemed like after that happened, I mean, obviously that scared the shit out of me. That was like the worst day of my life. And it's like after that, I was like, I would feel stuff and I would be short of breath and I would be whatever. And but yet I never went, Wags. I would never go because I was so afraid of what.
Yeah, you keep in good shape too, right? Like you're usually in decent enough shape to where a flight of stairs shouldn't get you out of breath.
Well,
or
and that was the thing where at that point, that's where I was kind of going through some stuff, you know, and it was like, and I wasn't in very good shape and I felt like shit. And so finally I went to the doctor because I was sick and they're like, dude, we need to check you out. And I went and did the heart thing. And it was like, once they told me everything was fine, all that problem that I had stopped. All that anxiety that I had stopped and went away.
Yeah.
And it was
it's
like
funny, right? And then of course you play internet doctor yourself, and you read one thing, and then that spirals out of control, and it leads down, you know, Dr. Gray and her anatomy, and here we go. So
yeah, and it's like so one of the things after that happened to my dad, I'm like, Dad, how'd you know that was happening? And he was like, that whole day I had this really bad pain in my back on the right side of my back.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah.
Shit.
So like for a year, the right side of my back hurt. And I asked the doctor, I'm like, so I've had this pain back there. What do you think that is? He's like, well, maybe you got a nerve pinched. So, you know, it is very important. And the colonoscopy thing.
And then it's radiated up to my neck. What do you think? Maybe you strained your neck.
Yeah.
You know, you're 44. Or in my case, I'm 44.
Yeah.
And it's wild. So look, just again, PSA, you know, to kind of follow up on Deion, go get checked out, guys.
Yeah. And that colonoscopy thing, guys, I mean, seriously, because I was 11 years late doing that.
Yes, go get checked out, but I'm going to pass on that one for a minute.
I'm going to tell you, dude, you will sleep like never before. And the whole thing about it is because I've talked to so many dudes after the fact. I don't reach out to
like
people.
Never before. What are you getting ready to quote some ice cube here? So deep, put that ass to sleep.
I don't reach out to people before I have all these things that it's like after. You know, I had a buddy that said, oh yeah, they found like 10 polyps, but they were all nothing and they took them out. You know, I'm like, well, you should have told me that, you know, 15 years ago or whatever the case was.
Okay, hold on. Before we get out of it, you got to stop talking about this stuff, because I don't talk about it and I don't think about it. But you know how they say, like, when your phone hears what's going on, right? And my phone can hear the conversations that we have.
Yes.
I've been getting feeds on my Instagram about people getting colonostomies, right? And then, but instead of removing like all the excess, I guess this is still excess, they're removing worm or parasites.
Oh,
like, and I don't know if it's AI generated or fake stuff, but it's gross to think that people could have that amount of parasites or worms in their body, man, or a tape. It's just disgusting. Anyway, sorry. On the sports. I remember as a kid one time, my dad watched some show on parasites in your body, and it was like he would talk about it all the time. I'm like, okay, I get gross,
it,
dude.
Get it.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting because like it's in. I don't know if you've ever taken soda and poured it on like a can of Coke and poured it on pork and seen the worms come up out of the pork.
No, you're shitting me, right?
No, I'm not. Do it. I swear, do it.
Pork, like go to the store and buy
go get some pork. Go get yourself a pork loin and take some soda and pour soda on. Like,
I'm gonna have a veggie burger. I'm having a veggie burger. I'm not doing that. I'm done with pork.
I'm not messing around. Good try it. Today in science.
Speaking of pork, last stupid story. Speaking of pork, years ago, my grandmother and my grandfather used to make tamales. You know, the pork tamales, and you know that's made of pig. Yeah, you know, it's pork.
Well, usually that's what pork is.
Yeah.
There's no beef pork, right?
Yeah. So years ago, my cousin and I, we're at their house. They lived out in the country, and they're making a batch of tamales. We wake up early in the morning. I mean, way early. And my grandfather has the hog head sitting like on the thing that's going to get ground up in the thing. And my cousin, it was a girl. She's like, "What's that?" I said, "That's the tamales. That's what's inside." To this day, she's in her early 50s, will not touch a tamale because of that.
Hold on,
snout up in the air. The pig
the snout in the hog head is in the tamale.
It gets ground up. I'm assuming it's in there. I don't know. But pork. I think that's why
I did not know that. I will probably never have a tamale either.
Oh, come on, man. Well,
dude, I've never had pickled pig's feet. I've never had snout. I've never had that.
You like frog legs? I like frog legs.
Never had frog legs. I'm from the East Coast too. Like I don't do is that French cuisine? Frog legs?
shit, I don't know. I figured they just got him out of like Town Lake or somewhere like that, Decker Lake or
Where are we going first? Where are we going first in the sports world, amigo? Where do you want to go first?
Wags, what were we talking about offline right here that Jake says?
We have lost the impact of shame in our society.
It's another one. That's a different conversation.
Absolutely so. There is no shame left. And usually we've replaced shame for clicks and fame, right? Shame for fame, right? As long as you can get those clicks, as long as you can get that content out there and people are going on there and you get followers, hey man, life is grand, isn't it?
Absolutely. Wags and again, kind of on the whole thing with, but to Coach Prime, sorry, Coach. I doubted you. I assumed that, I don't know. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I assumed this was some circus presentation that was coming in. All the best. And this dude is like when he says, I depend on Depends. I'm going to be wearing Depends. I'm going to piss myself on the sidelines. But he's still going on with the job. So I think that's fantastic. Wags, Ryne Sandberg, RIP.
Yeah, man.
That's just, when you think of a team like the Cubs and, just a good man was Ryne Sandberg, but a benchmark franchise like the Cubs, Ryne Sandberg to me bleeds Chicago Cubs. I mean, WGN, it's back in those days when WGN, the Cubs, WTBS, the Braves, that's all you could see. That's all you saw because we didn't have ESPN, all of these different things. But Ryne Sandberg, just a great baseball player, man. Great baseball player. It's a sucky loss, man.
Yeah, so this was actually, and I'll take you down a little childhood story here, man. And I'm not that like, oh, Ryne Sandberg's my favorite baseball player because he just died. No, but major influence. One of my first, and of course, Cal Ripken, the grand influence in baseball. But I didn't play shortstop growing up. My first, I guess, introduction into baseball. The first mitt that my dad bought me ended up actually coincidentally being a signature Ryne Sandberg glove. Again, I didn't play shortstop, but I did play second base as the start of my baseball childhood, career, I guess. Coincidentally, my son played second base, his first position too. And he used the same damn Ryne Sandberg mitt, as a matter of fact, which is fucking awesome. Now that just thinking about that. But anyways, so I ended up growing out of the position, ended up going from second base to shortstop, and then from shortstop to catcher, and played some center field too because I was pretty quick. I might not look fast, I might not look quick, but I did have some wheels back in the day. Very quick with it. It's quick like a cat. Anyways, but no, he major influence. So of course, Ryne Sandberg, when I was asked, my favorite baseball player, I actually, listed Cal Ripken, Mike Devereaux, Sean Doxson, and Ryne Sandberg. They were my favorite, my favorite 5 baseball players. And just I happened to watch Ryne Sandberg play the game. I ended up, taking. People don't know this about him, but he was kind of aggressive on the base pass. Like he could actually run. He was a decent runner for back in that day, or for being an unsung base stealer, right? So I actually took a lot of my game, or when I was a youth, in youth baseball, out of from Ryne Sandberg, and really just because he was the first signature in my glove, or my first glove that had a signature in it. So again, shout out to the great Hall of Famer. Sucks when you're just it sucks dying. It absolutely sucks when you die from cancer, and it just, I don't know, my heart goes out to him and his family, and our condolences for sure. But yeah, gone too soon. Ryne Sandberg, 23.
And it was with Ryne Sandberg, it was like you didn't think of second baseman at the time that would just obliterate a baseball. And that dude had 282 career home runs, in the 60s.
Quietly too, right? Like he only had a couple, like he had, I think one, I remember hitting one home run like the same year in 3rd grade. And I think he might have hit 40 home runs that year. Yeah. But he was like the National League All-Star, the National League MVP that year too. So I'm not sure if it was 30 something or 40. home runs. But yeah, he wasn't known for his bat. Like, he was mostly known for his defense.
Yeah.
And the way he was, aggressive on the base paths. But yeah, dude, the lumber came through, man. Sorry, I had to get that memory out before.
And I read something this morning on, I think it was ESPN.com, where it was talking about the one guy that he really got to in his career was Smoking John Smoltz. It was like for every, and again, there's the Braves correlation to where it really was back in the 80s and early 90s. You had the Cubs and you had the Braves, because those were the only teams that you could see continually. I mean, even being an Astros fan and with somewhat of an interest in the Arlington Rangers, it was like you didn't get to see them unless they were on Monday Night Baseball.
I remember the Pirates being pretty good.
In 70, well, they won the 79 World Series, the We Are Family team.
And they had Drabek, right? Doug Drabek
had a little bit of momentum there for a little bit. And by the way, I mean, we were just talking about with the Hall of Fame.
Andy Van Slyke, a young
Andy Van Slyke. Andy Van Slyke. Yeah, I forgot about that dude. But how about Dave Parker, with the Hall of Fame? And again, he just missed being there for that because we just lost him. But that Hall of Fame class, with Ichiro, CC Sabathia that I was talking about, Billy Wagner, and those guys getting in and still being around. But yeah, those Cubs teams, man, it was every afternoon you get home from school. Remember, because back in those days, Wrigley Field didn't have lights. I mean, they had to play during the day. And so
I don't remember, but that's a good point.
Yeah, they didn't. I remember the whole big thing when they put lights.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's right, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah. There was a song.
Big games.
There was a song by old country song. Here we go, going down a rabbit hole. I think it was the Stadler brothers that sang a song, and they were like, "When the lights go on at Wrigley Field," because it was like that will never happen. Well, little did we know. But WGN, man, WGN, WTBS. Ryne Sandberg, Mr. Cub, in my opinion, because that's one of the dudes that I think about. Just a great baseball player. And from what I heard, the locker room loved him. He was just a team guy, and RIP, especially that way. So the great Rhino, Ryne Sandberg. Another one lost, man.
Yep, another one gone too soon, amigo. Where do you want to go next? You want to talk a little baseball, or we got some training? I guess we got some NFL training camp to talk about too. But I mean, it's can I get a little excited for a minute? Right?
It's like that time.
Adley Rutschman returned last night, looking good, looking great. Oh man, 11-4. Orange Birds over the Bluebirds last night, or yesterday, whichever you want to call it. But yeah, good for baseball when I'm happy. I'll just say that, Rodney. It's good for baseball when I'm happy, because I need to be heavily invested. It's been bad, man. And I knew that we just had to endure a little bit. And again, it's only one game. Rutschman returned, last night, and it just coincidentally the Birds were hitting last. But I mean, Cedric Mullins with the Rob last night, being able to take a home run and pull it back into the park. But Vlad Guerrero able to flex and show his stuff too. Toronto's an excellent ball club. I mean, stats don't lie, standings don't lie. They're at the top for a reason, right? But look, man, it's good to have the captain back. It's good to have hugs on the ballpark, or hugs on the diamond. Of course, when Orioles win, Atlee comes up and gives the pitcher a hug. So, anyways, hugs for everybody. Hugs for the Birds last night, man, as they took down the Blue Jays 11-4, man.
Well, in this week for the AL West, I mean, talking there about Baltimore, obviously the AL East and so forth with Toronto. This is Astros fall again. And this is all, I think this is the Astros coming off of that high. I'm telling you, the All-Star break, I think, was the last thing that they needed, where you stop everything and you reset and you realize, holy smoke, we've been doing this without so many key factors. And the Astros lose to Walgreens last night 2-1, and they will play, 2 more games in that series. But the Rangers fall to the Angels 6-4. Seattle 3-1 over the A's. So the AL West by the end of the week, Wags, is going to be, it's only a 4-game advantage right now, a 3-game advantage. It's 3 games over Seattle, 4 games over the Rangers. By the time we get to Friday, we might have a really this top three is
They
going to be
should
shuffled
not be
around.
losing to the Washington Nationals.
Dude, they're in last place. They're 18 games out of first place, but Wags, you just got swept by the A's.
I didn't even see the box last night. Who was on the bump? Who was?
I didn't watch it. I don't know, but
Okay.
it's you can't be getting beat by Walgreens. But this is where I talk about that you're kind of in that circle of coming off the high because you got swept by Oakland or by the A's, wherever they're from, Sacramento. So it's a tough time, man. It's a tough time. But those pieces are coming back as we screech towards that trade deadline. I'm not really seeing anything happening. Not really seeing anything happening right here. Yeah.
Rangers and Mariners play this weekend. There you go. That's a marquee matchup to be looking forward to. That's going to have a little bit of distinguishment in the in the division there. Hey, do me a favor, run an ad real quick. I got to get my son up because his alarm's going off. You
got one of those too? Yeah. My oldest daughter, when she comes to the house, still employed, doing whatever she does, if she's off, I'm like, turn that fucking alarm off. Don't even set it.
I gotta go. It's distracting the shit out of me. I'm very sorry. So I gotta go turn this off.
It's all right.
He forgot to turn it off. So
it's all good, man. I'm going to tell everybody about our man, Ryne Hurricane Hecht. There's a new lawyer in town, friends. When that storm hits, you call Ryne. Take your cell phone out right now. Like they say on TV during the weather delays, stop what you're doing. Take your cell phone out and put this number in there, 512-938-8929. That is Ryne Hurricane Hecht, a fighter for the people, a Texas Longhorn, aggressive in court, but compassionate with his clients. If you're injured on the job, if you're injured in a car accident, random dog bite while you're out walking around your neighborhood or something, that's the one call to make. Ryne Hurricane Hecht, friend of the show, fighter for the people. But best thing about it, guys, I'm here to tell you, because we do see them all the time, especially if you're up in the morning or in the afternoon. You're going to get all of those personal injury attorney lawyers that spend a lot of money on those commercials doing different things, standing on top of cars, doing all of this stuff. But it's going to be a very rare occasion where if you need a personal injury attorney, you're going to make that phone call and you're actually going to deal with the person. With Ryne Hurricane Hecht, you deal with the attorney himself. Don't let those big insurance companies bully you around, because that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to want to make a deal. They're going to want to settle, but odds are it's not the best deal for you. Let Ryne represent you. Like I said, aggressive in court, very compassionate with you, the client. Again, the phone number, 512-938-8929. Email them at Ryan@HechtLawFirm.com. That's Ryan at HECHT lawfirm.com. Be sure and tell them that Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you. Also want to talk about our friends at Covert Bee Cave. If you're in the market for a new or pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, covertbeecave.com is the spot to start that. Then you make your way out. Hey, man, the lakes have water in them. Go on out there. Take that beautiful drive out there. Check out just that gallery of dealerships out there. Best part about it is, if you get your new or pre-owned car, truck, or SUV at Covert Bee Cave, it's not just the service during the sale, it's the service after the sale. Service bays galore to take care of all of your preventative maintenance. Hey, you don't want to hear it from me. How about some true customer testimonials about Covert Bee Cave?
They treat you like family. My husband and I have bought several vehicles from the Coverts over the years, and it's always just been easy and effortless.
By the time we walk into the dealership, paperwork's ready and we're ready to buy.
I walked in, literally signed a couple of things, and I was 10 minutes in and out.
They just take care of everything.
I personally feel like people took care of me. I feel like as they're taking care of me, if they take care of other people that I know, it's just that much of a plus.
Covert, born and raised in Austin,
where you are always treated like family.
That's right. Nobody beats a Covert deal. Not now, not ever. Thousands of Central Texans have gone to the Covert family of dealerships. That is the newest one. It's covertbeecave.com.
All right, man.
Did you wake him up?
Huh?
Did you wake him up, or did you just
tell him,
turn it off?
No, he was in the shower and he left the damn thing going.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
So
are y'all doing so with this? Do y'all have another summer trip but before the end of?
No. So dude, I'm kind of like, I'm not complaining at all. All right. Because we're getting a pool and everything.
You're gonna say, I'm not complaining, but shit, man.
But look, so check this out. All right. Like, I hit my homeboys up and I'm just like, hey man, y'all want to go to like Outer Banks or something, cruise, go out east or something like that. My friends from back home.
Yeah.
And they're like, actually we're in Fenwick right now. We're in Fenwick Island right now, man. Up in, Delaware, Delaware, Ocean City, Maryland area. And I'm like, well, I mean, I didn't get a damn call or anything like that. I would have, flown up to you or whatever and gotten a little bit of East Coast beach time in, And then it ended up, I just ended up finding out that it was only like a family trip or like a couple's things. I was like, oh shit. All right. Well, that's out the door. But my wife just went on a trip with my son, and then she's going on a trip with her sisters, and then the moms and my son and his friends, like my wife included, they're going on a cruise. And matter of fact, on Wednesday, they're leaving on a cruise out of Galveston. No dads allowed, just the moms and the sons as like a graduation celebration.
Damn. Yeah.
So
you like, damn, I can't
it's
go.
like I'm not saying where's my vacation, because I kind of missed it because of my foot and the dog, but still it's like, what the hell, man? Like, and she's like, you can go somewhere, so I'll leave it to the fam here. Where are we going? We going to Vegas?
My wife told me this weekend.
Answer my question. Where are we going? Are we going to Vegas? Are we going to Vegas?
Let's go, because that's what I was going to tell you. My wife told me this weekend, because I went out and played golf Saturday, and she goes, "How'd it go?" We're talking about whatever, and she's like, "Did you play with somebody?" I said, "No, I played with myself." I played by myself. Sorry. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, no, I know.
You know what I mean. I said whoever was supposed to show up and they were going to pair me with didn't show up, so I played by myself. And she's like, I hate that you have to go out there and do that. I'm like, I actually prefer it, but anyway, that's a different thing. And my wife does cool things. My wife goes off to and they find concerts and they go and they do these things. And she's like, I feel really bad that you don't like go do guy things. I'm like, well, number one, I don't have any friends, so it's real hard to take the dogs.
I'm going to say something right now, okay? And I'm not trying to sound like a hermit, all right? And I know that I was just saying, like, I'd like to go someplace else. I'd like to go on a vacation or something like that. I don't want to be the guy that looks through a lens of a camera or looks on a TV. But when you do have a studio like audiovisual consultation sets up for you, it's really easy to kind of stay here, right? Yeah. And then you see shit over the weekend, like stuff that happens at Yankee Stadium, where I don't want to be around that in public, right? Like maybe when I was in my 20s, I thought that was funny and hilarious or whatever, and I could endure that.
There's no need for that.
But I mean, honestly, like, and it same goes for the people that can't control their liquor and they're vomiting, in the bleachers and just have a puddle of piss or a puddle of puke in the stands. Like, I don't want to experience that. All right. So that's usually, and I know that's, that's just like a handful of times that could happen, but still shit escalates in public. People are unhinged these days. People don't know how to act in society because honestly, just there's no respect for people. And like we talked about earlier, it's a shameless society. Like shame has kind of gone out the fucking door these past, it feels like 10 years. Like there's
sense. Yeah. Shame and common sense.
They've just lost once the internet or once social media has just spawned with like, content here, content there, and everybody's a content creator. People have lost, their dignity, and they're turning in shame for clicks and follows. And that's my last stump speech for today.
Well, and it's totally spot on.
That's why I stay in. That's why I stay in and watch TV, man. That's why I'm getting Mike McCall to hook up everything here at the house and fix the house, renovate the house, and we're putting in a pool. Like we are taking care of ourselves because it's getting. I don't want to say it's getting rough. You know what I mean? It's getting bad to go out in public, but it's getting harder for me to be able to endure some of the shit that I'm seeing. It's getting harder for me to keep my mouth shut. All right. Like, and I don't want to be that Ken or that Karen out there that's getting blasted, but I have pride in my community, man. Like, I don't like to see people just throwing trash, bags of McDonald's on the street. I've been the asshole in the neighborhood saying, hey, pick that shit up. That ain't a trash can. You know what I mean? And you start to see that shit a lot, man. And I don't like it.
Yeah.
And there I go. Again, that last stump speech, I swear to God.
No, it's all good. Rob, very good point there. I mean, when the person I was supposed to be paired up with didn't show up, I actually wound up. So I was playing solo. There was a foursome in front of me, so I just kind of played with them. So we had a fivesome that was going, and it was like there was an older gentleman in there from wearing an Auburn shirt. So great football conversations from Alabama. But I was like their fifth. And so we just kind of went out there. Some of them were really good. And we just all had a great time. Hell, they bought me 3 beers. Shit.
Hey, there you go. That's $24.
That's the other part of it.
That's $24 to $30. That's
not only that,
a dinner night, man.
Not only that, Wags, I was like, so, I may have gotten me a premium or two when I got there to kind of loosen up, because I said that I hadn't been drinking on the golf course. I'm like,
you probably had a roadie too, right?
No, don't.
No, I know. I kid. I joke.
So these guys, they buy me a couple of beers. They bought me some premiums. I'm like, damn, look at these guys. Good dudes. Exchange phone numbers. So to Rob's point, yes, it's a lot of fun to get out there and do. But you're told the whole logistics of this was, my wife is like, you need to get some guys together and go take a guys trip. So Wags, it looks like it's you and I, because I think we have the same thoughts on traveling. We'll go somewhere and sit in the hotel.
We'll travel more than Patrick Ewing if you allow me to do it, I guess. Only to the right spot. So I want to go to Vegas. I do want to go back. I want to go out to the Outer Banks, man. I don't know if you guys have ever been out there or not, but it's the waves aren't as big. It kind of reminds me of like Port Aransas, but bigger. You know what I mean? But also more ice, like bigger retail in terms of the beachfront. Right, like bigger real estate, not retail, bigger real estate. So you got more places to hang out at. You can drive your 4x4, your Jeep or whatever, your truck or whatever on the damn beach in some spots. But also, like, you get out towards like Hatteras or whatever, you're really out there and just isolated, man. Corolla or whatever, Corolla and Avon. That's a little bit more touristy in the Outer Banks, but you going out, man. It's just isolated in the dunes and shit. It's so much fun. It's a lot. I don't know. It's memories of my childhood, and I kind of want to revisit that. But yeah, let's go. We got to go on a trip somewhere, man.
Yeah, we got to do something. That's what I'm telling you. Like these Mexico
ballpark. Go take a little ballpark tour, huh?
Oh, dude, that would be great. I mean, that'd be absolutely great. Be hot though.
Have we done top 10 ballparks or top 5 ballparks?
I don't think so. Yep. Got to put that one on there. Got to put that one on there.
I think we've talked about it a few times. We just haven't put our top 5 ballparks on
there. Yeah, absolutely. Need to get that one on there.
Bangkok, Thailand. So look, my homeboy just came back from Thailand, right? And to my dismay, or I guess, to my unawareness, or to my enlightenment, I should say. I've been using English today. It's pretty tough. I was assuming that Bangkok and Thailand would be filthy and be dirty, like the streets of New York are, like with trash, lined up on the streets and stuff like that. I was unaware that it is pristine, or in his words, it was like no trash. It was absolutely clean. Like you could eat food off the ground. Clearly not, but that's how he was describing how clean the streets were, right?
Yeah.
And it's because people take pride in their streets, pride in their community, man. That would be great if we all effing did that. But yeah, Bangkok, that's where Jake wants to go, Bangkok.
That's what I say about these cities in Mexico that we go to, where people are like, oh my God, Mexico, that's the ghetto. I'm like, well, yeah, if you go to the ghetto, you're going to be in the ghetto. I mean, you go to the ghetto in the U.S., you're going to be in the ghetto. But
funny you should ask what he was doing over there. They took a family trip over to Thailand because his son is 18. I think Mateo just turned 18. But he is a Muay Thai fighter around the area, and he trains in local gyms here, and he is a promising fighter, an upcoming fighter. Keep your name out for him, Mateo Leboy. And they took a trip over to Thailand to train over there, where he did a month of training, and they documented his work and his techniques and his disciplines. And it should be a really good experience for him, and it should pay dividends, man. I can't wait to see where he's going to go with it. But yeah, that's funny you should ask, Jake. That's exactly what they did. Shameless little plug there for my homeboy Caesar and his son Mateo there.
Well, and our man Mike McCall checks in on the Coda text line again, 633-9580 if you're looking for that home renovation project. To your point about keeping things looking nice, and again, that's what I've seen as I've traveled to some of these Mexican cities. People are too selfish to do that here. I think a lot of it is people are ready for somebody else to do it for you here.
Or they expected with the money that they're paying in taxes, or to have a government service that actually does something like that.
Yeah, it's like I don't care. Somebody will pick it up. No,
we're quickly turning into NPR here. Where do you want to go? What's next in sports? Guyton.
Tyler Guyton, Dallas Cowboys. We were talking yesterday about Cowboys losing.
Rejoice!
Boom, here we go. Luckily, the ACL is intact. Only going to be 4 to 6 weeks right here, but here we go. Now, would you bring him back?
Bring him back in 4 to 6 weeks, or would you let him sit and rest up and heal even more? Because we've seen a lot, right? Like, we've seen this happen time and time before. Like, as soon as they get back from injury, boom, injured again, re-aggravated.
That's
like
the whole
this
thing.
If you just missed on this ACL, would you risk it? Would you just kind of sit this down just for a little bit, and then when it's time to go, of course, and I know like there's a difference between game speed and being having enough reps to get you ready for game speed over practice. I understand that completely, right? And no amount of practice substitutes the speed like a game does. I understand that wholeheartedly. But my point is, what if you rush him back? And sure, it's supposed to be 4 to 6 weeks or however long the extent. If you bring him back right when that recommendations is back and it boom re-aggravates, you're done for the year. Honestly, it's not going to be just a tweak here or a minor tweak there. It's probably going to be an absolutely full-blown ACL. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Yes, rejoice, but I still err on the side of caution and don't try to rush this guy back.
Yeah, and if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you're not in a position to where you can lose this guy. I mean, you do have to take as much time as possible to get him back, because that really is the thing. When you rush this, especially with these big guys, that's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight that these guys are carrying around, that this thing can go awry really, really fast, especially when, like you said, if it's 4 to 6 weeks, and we've got the preseason for the Cowboys starts next Saturday. I mean, you're going to be right there, right around the start of the regular season by the time that he would technically be able to come back. You don't want to thrust him back out there at game speed, just, without anything other than physical therapy, because the odds are that that's going to happen again. So you have to take your time here, because you don't have depth. You don't have people where like, Guyton's gone, boom, let's plug this dude in. You don't have the Texas offensive line that you had last year, where it's like, okay, let's bring Gooseby in here and everything's going to be fine. You have to, and that offensive line is just so, I mean, with Dak being in year 10 and Dak coming off of injury and a running game that's a little suspect right now, because we don't know who's going to be the bell cow. You absolutely cannot risk losing this guy any longer than you're losing him right now by rushing him back. And again, this is something we'll have to talk with Nick I guess, on Friday to the real extent of this. But 4 to 6 weeks, when I saw a knee injury, I'm like, oh my goodness, boom, here we go. Luckily, that ACL still intact.
Luckily, absolutely. Rejoice, Cowboys fans. I see that coordinators for Texas talk today. Coach,
did they?
PK and what's it say, 11 o'clock? I don't actually have the time here, but yeah, it looks like the coordinators are going to be talking today. What do you want to hear from the coordinators today, Rodney?
I just want to hear that Off-season stuff has gone as scheduled. I mean, I don't really need a lot of coach speak. I don't need them to come out and dazzle me with anything, because we know the expectations. So if we're going to get a lot of coach speak, I want to hear. Speaking of offensive line, I want to hear an emphasis.
I want to go to the trenches. I want to hear what's going down with trench warfare. I want to hear how we're supplementing, the unit that we absolutely, I would say flourish with, but basically plowed fields with there, led by Banks and hell. And now we'll have to see how Goosby's going to do on the other side of it here, right? Now he'll be the anchor going forward here. I expect him to be, the lead stalwart, for this line, but I am very interested to hear about the offensive line. In terms of, for Coach PK's side of the house, I want to hear about, the defensive interior too, right? Like, so a lot of it for me is trench warfare. I think that we got the studs in terms of, edge rushers and linebackers and being able to fill out of the backfield here. Little curious about, the safety position, but I think we'll be okay. I think we're fine. Just young. Basically for me, it's interior, it's offensive line and interior defensive line for me.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't think we get a lot out of either. Yeah, Jake just read my mind. I don't think we get much out of either one of these guys. I mean, this isn't Sark that's coming up here. It's just going to dazzle you with conversation.
Yeah, but I'd like to hear what Flood has got to say about the offensive line. And of course, somebody's going to be knowing,
somebody will ask
on the 40. Somebody's going to ask about the offensive line. So,
and what I hope to hear is that, and again, we may not know this until we see them, tomorrow, because camp starts tomorrow. So we're like right there. We're on the edge.
We made it. We did great. We did. We endured. We got through. We talked to WNBA. We got through it. We're great. We did.
Speaking of that,
we did. Staying on Longhorn football.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it as we get out of here. I want to hear that the offensive line. I want to hear that they have been blowing up the weight room. That they've got leaner. That their nutrition is really good. I want to hear that they've got stronger, faster. Sound like the $6 million man, right? That's what I want to hear that the offensive line has done during this time. That they have gotten themselves in that to go out and win jobs and do their job.
I want to hear how easy. I want to hear how easy it is for them to step in and take the place of the unit that we just relinquished. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear how easy the offense comes to them. I want to hear how natural, naturally, genius they are, or just how great their football acumen is. You know what I mean? Like, that's the stuff I want to hear Flood say, and how easy it is, and how much of the playbook he can already use with these guys, moving forward. Like, that's how much I want to hear. So.
And what we'll hear is, the guys that were here before these guys were great place setters. They left a great imprint on the program, and they left these guys in a really, really good place and taught them really, really well how to play this position. That's the stuff we're going to hear. But, when it all comes down to it with this offensive line, no pressure, but you got to take care of Arch Manning. And if you want to talk about pressure with everything that's being expected out of this guy, not just here, but around the country, and I mean winning Heismans and doing all these different things, and NFL teams tanking for a year or two to get this guy, you're in charge of taking care of that guy.
Right. I also want to hear how much the offense is going to be the same, if there's going to be any new quirks, if there's going to be, new installments to the offense too, because of Arch's abilities as well. Like, I'm very curious to hear what Flood's going to say. Of course, I'm assuming that there's going to be, new packages and new installments. Goods, you're not going to want to show the same types of looks. But still, I do think that, Arch has, Arch has better wheels than Quinn, and I think they'll be on display. My concern is, or I guess the reluctancy that I have is, utilizing those wheels enough and allowing them to stay intact and not having them fall off. So, but use them when you need them, man. That's what I'm saying. Use them when you need them, and don't be predictable with it. I thought that's what the problem was with Georgia, is that when we brought Arch in, everybody in the damn stadium and watching on television knew that he was going to get an RPO, right? Like that's the predictability, right? Like, you break tendency when you need to. Like that's the thing. But anyways, I don't want to go back to talking about last year. I'm looking forward to hearing Coach Flood and Coach PK. But yeah, I definitely want to hear on the defensive side of the ball. I want to hear about the interior line.
And here's where I found my car reference for Arch Manning. You know, where they say when you have a badass Mercedes, you don't leave it in the garage. You know, we've heard that all the time, you know, where people say that. It's like, I'll kind of take this as like a custom car. Let's say whether it's a classic Jaguar, a Mustang, Camaro, you name the classic car. I want to get it out and use it when I need it. And that's what I want to see it when it comes to his wheels. Again, I don't want him doing that all the time. There are times that he's going to have to do that. But yeah, it's like, you know, I got a car show this weekend. I'm taking my Chevelle out and I'm going to show it off. Then I'm going to bring it back, put it in the garage, and let the other stuff do its job. That's what I want. I want Arch Manning to be my Chevelle. I want him to be my 67 Chevelle. Use that speed when you need it. My burnt orange Chevelle.
I do, man.
Is Arch Manning.
I do like the imagination, and I do like the thought of a nice little RPO with Wisner or AKA Baxter. You know, it doesn't matter. And then, you know, everybody, you know, linebackers biting on that so hard, and then, you know, Arch just right around the edge and no containment. And there he goes, man. I don't know. I hope we see a lot of that come to fruition this year. I'm looking forward to it, man. We'll break down a lot more college football moving forward, and especially going into next week, or excuse me, going into the month of August, where we'll start doing our top 20 and start to get this thing rolling out for you guys here. But yeah, Longhorns looks like looking for a special season, especially with the connection between Wingo and Manning. Where do you want to go next, partner? Anything left on the slate?
So do you think that first half of the Ohio State game, and this is just a general question for you and everybody else, do you think that it's going to be the most scrutinized, analyzed first half that we have ever watched in Texas football history, as to
from
on
who?
Sir Arch Manning?
From what from the national pundits?
And us, and we as well.
No, I think
like
I think you know, Sarkisian will do a really good job at scripting the first couple, or at least the first series or two.
That's what I'm curious. I want to. God, I'd love to know that script ahead of time.
No, I would not. I don't want any of that leaked.
Well, no.
I'm pretty sure that Sarkisian will have a pretty good script for Arch. The thought to me, and what I think it's kind of always, you know, loomed for me with Sark is, you know, adjustments, like second half adjustments, and being able to adjust on the fly, right? Like usually, you know, Sark has a pretty good plan and a decent counter, a decent alternative, but it's always been adjusting on the fly that kind of, you know, get in trouble or honestly, you know, and I'm sure we'll hear about this from Coach Flood too. Like, you know, red zone offense, like what are we going to do this year to address some of the red zone deficiencies from last year? So curious to hear about all that. And again, and I know they're not big talkers, but hopefully, you know, those questions are asked so they can get right to the point.
And I still think that it's so cool, at the same time scary and cool, that you start out the season with all these expectations and the Arch Manning debut as the starting quarterback here, that you start out playing Ohio State. You're not starting out playing insert the school. North
Sisters
Texas
of the weekend and scrupule. No, I got you.
Yeah. You get a big test. Big test.
Yeah. And I guess there's something to that, right? There's always something to playing people early, because you might not be on your best game, but neither are they,
right?
Or they might not be on their best game either, right? So there's something to, like, if you're gonna play Ohio State, I'd much rather play Ohio State, you know, early September instead of early November, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. This is where, when the Ohio State previews, when all that really starts game week, we're going to be talking about Smith on the outside for them. This is where it's like, I'm so glad that that game one with him learning these new quarterbacks is against this secondary that we may have a couple of questions about. And these linebackers and the edge rushers can really.
That's where I'm at. There's got to be a lot of pressure from the edge, right? That's honestly how you kind of neutralize a passing attack, is don't allow the quarterback to get the ball out, right? Or don't allow the quarterback to get to a spot. Always keep his feet moving, and don't allow him to get his feet set. If you can do that, and I think the Longhorns are going to have a very successful night.
Yeah. Utilize the matchups and exploit them is what you need to do. Yeah. So, reporting today.
What you need to do, you need to call audiovisual consultations, 512-255-8678. Whether you're watching college football, hockey, baseball, racing, NASCAR, F1, it's all deadly, man, with audiovisual consultations. Just give them a call. Again, the number is 512-255-8678, or go to the website at avconsultations.com and look at the gallery of projects that they've done over the past 37 years. Again, all your questions will be answered, man. No job's too big, no job's too small. Just give them a call. Again, lottery number is 512-255-8678. That's avconsultations.com.
So that must-see TV I was telling you about a while ago when you mentioned the WNBA, Cameron Brink is back tonight, my man, for the Sparks, Los Angeles. Taking
there you go. Is that your girl?
That's one of them. That's that
I thought you were Trace Fletcher's guy.
I am. So, but this would be number 4, but she plays for a different team. So, yeah, that's on the must-see list.
This would be number 4, but she plays for a different team. Do you got a top 5 on girls in the NBA?
Yeah, the 3, this girl, and then no, I don't know. I don't know a 5th one, to be honest with you. It's not Angel Reese. She's mean.
Yeah,
she's just mean.
She is a meanie.
She's just meanie.
What do we got going around in the NFL today? Any I saw Aaron Rodgers in the news.
Aaron Rodgers, we're still, kind of back to the Cowboy thing. We're in this endless cycle. I saw that Adam Schefter was talking about that apparently the correspondence between Micah's agency and the Cowboys has been very minimal. I'm like, well, that's great, but they're not talking to one another, but damn, both sides are sure running their mouth when it comes to the media. Yeah, it's Jerry and Steven are sitting there talking about, oh, he's got to want to be paid. Well, no shit. I'm sure he wants to be paid. And, Micah's talking about, well, if this is the end, dude, you got another year to play. What do you mean if this is the end? So here we are in this endless thing that we were talking about yesterday, Wags, where it's like a team that's probably that does not have a chance at the Super Bowl. And we're sitting here at the start of training camp talking about a team that doesn't have a legitimate chance at the Super Bowl.
I'm listening to you. I turned the comments back on, and I'm reading all these comments, and I don't know what you said, but it triggered everybody talking about athlete of the week and Cameron Brink.
Sophie Cunningham really is the one. She's on that shirt, and she's that girl. She twerks all the time. She's always dancing, and she's the one that put the headlock on that other girl and knocked her down when Caitlin Clark.
I know who she is. I just don't know if she's a baddie, right? Like, I don't know if I'm into anybody.
I do like Sophie Cunningham. Lexi Hall is one of the other threats. Is one
of the other threats.
One of the other threats. Hell, Caitlin Clark not even playing, and there's all that. But yeah, Cameron Brink, she's a cutie. She's a cutie. No
Jake says Cam Brink, Sophie Cunningham, and then who cares?
Pretty much about right.
We shall see. All right. Anything else that we need to get off the slate here before the guys get on?
Man, I think we got everything covered up. Just really looking forward to getting Texas on the field tomorrow to just finally get this thing started. It seems like as these seasons run longer, and it's not a very long off season. And I think so much of it is the anticipation, because we never stop talking about this stuff, especially now with transfer portals and commitments or lack of commitments, to where it's like, it's just this ongoing cycle. It's like, finally, let's just get on the field. Let's just get on the field and see the football being thrown around. Let's see some, let's see some padless practices.
I'm ready. We made it.
We made it.
Jordan Scruggs, how are you, sir?
Just another day. How are y'all doing?
Living the dream, amigo. Got a lot going on today, man. Got pretty stressed out about it too. Making some major decisions.
You want to give us a hint at all, or private?
Not at all. So no, it's just life decisions.
We're trying to plan a dude's trip, Jordan. You want to go?
Where at?
I don't know. That's one of them we're trying to figure out.
Who's going to this besides y'all two?
So far, that's it.
I think it's just me going to hell. I don't know. We're signing, signing the signature over to Satan here, and here we go.
So it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Taking some money, going back into the bank, amigo, going back into the bank, and I'm shitting bricks. So here we are.
Damn, that does not sound fun.
No, it's not. I mean, I'm basically just going to be here for the rest of my effing life.
The yellow rug. You mean money doesn't really grow on trees?
Not anymore.
Like they told me.
Anymore. It used to back in the day. So I don't know, making adult decisions.
Like I used to tell my dad, you got to have money. You got checks. You have checks. You have to have money, right?
I guess that's what they say, man. What's on the slate today, Jordan? What's up?
Not a ton of recruiting stuff, so we're kind of going to be bouncing around the place, have some fun topics to discuss. But yeah, I don't know about y'all. Sorry, I'm getting this tweet up. But no, just a couple of fun off-season topics and different things like that. But yeah. What did y'all hit on today?
Hey, Jordan, I wanted to ask you. I've been meaning to ask you this for a couple of days. It's actually sports related.
Well, Jordan, right into it.
Yeah. Is there any, with high school football season getting ready to kick off here again, not near as deep into it as I have been in the past. Is there anyone here right now that is starting to jump off the radar? Whether it be a Westlake kid, a Lake Travis kid, or Dripping Springs. I mean, that seems to be where that nucleus comes from. But is there like a hidden gem somewhere out in one of these suburbs that people are looking at and thinking that dude could really be something in 26 or 7?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how deep in the weeds are we going here?
Man, we can go deep. We can go balls deep if you want, my man.
All right, I got one for y'all that I don't think I've actually really talked about yet. But this kid, Tana Wooten from Colleen Shoemaker.
Oh, man.
2028. He's Belizean. Plays with Juice. Basically, I've seen him grow up in the Juice program. He's played since like middle school. Great ball player. It's early enough where he could be a power 4 receiver, DB.
Damn.
I think receivers where he wants to play, though. Usually kids that are good enough at both sides, they don't want the ball taken out of their hands. But yeah, and he's originally or has some family in Washington, I believe is originally from there. So that kind of helps speed up the process with them. They were his first offer, and then Arizona State offered him not too long after. But yeah, he's one to watch out for. Trey Moore is obviously a big name at Weiss. Everyone knows him.
Mm-hmm.
I think Audric Williams, he's a receiver at Weiss. He transferred in from Cedar Ridge. The problem with him, though, is that he might not be eligible to play varsity this fall. There's a UIL hearing at the end of the month for him. So, yeah, I'd say him. He's a power 4 receiver. I think his only offer right now is UTSA, but, he'll end up somewhere power 4 like a Baylor or Texas Tech. He just needs more varsity film because, he wasn't getting recruited at Cedar Ridge at all because it's Cedar Ridge in 2025. It's not what it was 8 years ago or however long ago, with all due respect to the Cedar Ridge Raiders.
Yeah, it's post Sam Robinson now. That's going to be really weird to get used to. Where's Coach Rob, man?
Yeah, they don't got no.
Well, Sam's kids ain't playing no more, so
they don't got no Jalen Ellis's walking around anymore.
Yeah, those days.
I figured Coach Rob would get out of there as soon as the youngest one was graduating. So that's that. Anyways, boys, I'm gonna get out of here too. On that note, y'all be good, man. Have a great day. I'm gonna go spend some money.
Awesome. Well, don't drink by yourself tonight.
I don't drink anymore.
Come over here. I'll fix it.
That's a lie. That's a lie. I have a beer occasionally, but
yeah,
usually Rodney does all the drinking.
I don't drink. I guzzle. All right, boys. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
See ya. Peace. Well, welcome into the Lone Star Playbook. I'm Jordan Scruggs. That is Will Turboff. I don't really have a good reason for I'm not wearing a hat besides I usually shower in the afternoon. I took one this morning, didn't want to wear a hat. So that's why I don't have one. But Will, if you want to tell these folks why you have on the goggles, go ahead.
I do. I have on these are blue light glasses. So about 15 minutes after I got off the air with Nick on Friday, I was moving some boxes into the bed of my truck. Was leaned down, and when I leaned back up, hit a metal beam, concussed myself right on the spot, and have been urged to stay off screens as much as possible. And the only way to kind of limit the damage from that is wearing these, which are really, I mean, on the screen, they look awful. And they just don't look great. I'm not a glasses guy. But I'm going to push through with them for the next couple days on the show here.
Yeah, Will got hit by his own truck is what it sounds like. But
I got hit by the beam on top of the truck. So not the truck. It was the garage. The garage hit me.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, not fun. I hate moving. I absolutely can't stand it. The both times I moved, luckily I've had the funds to buy a lot of like upgraded furniture and stuff, and felt better about leaving it at my old place or giving it to a buddy or whatnot. Damn, they're on your ass, Will, today.
I mean, that's true. I do look like Squints.
Hey, Squints got Wendy Peppercorn at the end of the day. So,
right.
How about that? But anyways, we'll get into it. Like I said during crosstalk, there really is not a lot of recruiting stuff going on. What there is, we'll hit on towards the end of the show. But if you have any recruiting questions or just any questions in general, feel free to fire them in the chat, and we will come back to them by the end of the episode. Will, I don't know how much you've seen it because I don't know how much you've been on social media as of late with your concussion, but there's a debate going on. Jalen Hurts versus Cam Newton. I asked Nick this question yesterday. What do we think here, Billy T?
Man, I was the biggest Cam Newton fan before the Panthers were good. When the Texans were bad in 2013, 2014, I'm talking when TJ Yates was starting games, I was a fair weather Panthers fan. And Cam Newton was my favorite player. And I don't really like Jalen Hurts. He went to Oklahoma, plays for the Eagles. Like, I don't like the Eagles particularly. But at this point, rings do talk. I know that Cam wasn't able to win one because he faced probably the second or third greatest defense of our lifetime on that Broncos team with Vaughn. But I'm going to have to give the nod to Jalen. I also think that Jalen Hurts, the rest of his career, like it's not one of those things like, oh, he's already surpassed him. He's on pace to surpass him. But if Jalen Hurts has the career trajectory of Cam Newton in terms of, taking a big dip after putting on, and Jalen Hurts hasn't put on MVP caliber seasons. If he takes a dip, I think Cam will have the better career. But at this point, I do think I'd give the nod to Jalen Hurts, just by a smidge.
Well, evaluate this guy for a concussion.
I'm just saying by the career. I do think that Cam Newton is a far better football player. I do think that he's more talented. He's better runner and a better thrower. I think Cam Newton does everything better.
I don't know. I'm also just naturally a hater. If I don't like someone, I'm going to be opposed to whoever they like, But I don't know, man. They got Josh Hoover. They think he's a legit Heisman contender or will be this fall. Their fans think that, I'm in wait and see mode with that.
They're wrong.
Can't wait to see them play, in Chapel Hill versus the Chapel Bills. Excited for that one. But I mean, hey, they got a fun team. Can't think of who their running back is besides Jeremy Payne.
Is Cam Cook still there?
Sorry?
Cam Cook, is he still there? Let's take a look here.
I heard from several sources in the Austin area. So a Fox got in the hen house with Cam Cook and
interesting.
Told him he should go in the portal. He's now at South Alabama or Jacksonville. He's at Jack State. My bad.
at least our lads at their depth chart list Trent Battle as the starter, and then Jeremy Payne, who did not redshirt last year. Jeremy Payne played in like 7 or 8 games. He's the backup. Kavorian Barnes, who came in from, I believe, UTSA, another depth piece, and Nate Palmer, another in-state guy, Nate Palmer, right there at the back. So
out of Decatur, won a state championship at College Station, and then his pops got a job at Decatur. He went with him there. Pretty cool story. But yeah, no,
and they got some receivers too. I mean,
yeah, hey.
You want to talk about a name that in my eyes should still haunt Texas fans, even though the Longhorns ended up winning that game, is Joseph Manjack.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you remember what Joseph Manjack did to Texas 2 years ago. I was at that game in Houston when it was him and Golden just tearing things up. I mean, they scored 21 for the first half, and really could have won that game. If you remember right, we both went up there for a second. Malik Murphy started 75% of that game, and man, it was not a good one.
No, it's not.
Were you there?
Yeah, you're freezing for me. You're freezing for me. You want to try leaving and coming back? Hold up.
That's what I'm going to do.
All right. Yeah, I'm good. My Wi-Fi's good, so it has to be on your end. I just checked the internet speed. It's another day at the office, boys. Welcome to Texas Sports Unfiltered. Damn, I even lost my train of thought there with Will and what we were even talking about besides TCU. Yeah, they got Joseph Manjack. They got TCU and Kendall Briles. Oh, here we go. Looks like he might be good. You hear me?
All right. I think we're good now. Yeah, you were freezing for me and I was freezing for you. So hopefully we're back in good here.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. We're good. You're a little frozen, but I don't know. I can hear you. Yeah, Jake, this is how I felt watching the game on my couch. But TCU, they got Manjack, like you said. They clearly have a type. Kendall Briles clearly has a type. Before Manjack, it was Jack Besh. Before that, they had J.P. Richardson, who they portaled from Oak State. Now they have Manjack, and up next, Ed Small, the pride of Austin Anderson. Arguably the coldest white boy to ever do it. Not joking. He is like that. He's going to play in the NFL. I strongly believe that. And will play as a freshman for them, by the way.
And they got Major Everhart.
And they got Terry Shelton last year, who finishes a top 100 prospect. He will play a little bit as a freshman. And then this kid, he went to Azle, right down the street from TCU. His name is Eric McAllister. He transferred in from Boise State. If you play college football dynasty, if you play college football PPR dynasty, that is a guy to look at. Eric McAllister. And what I just said,
I remember using him last year.
Yeah, he's nice. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be an interesting season for them. But hey, EA Sports the other day came out with their Madden 99 club class. Oh boy. I don't know what's going on at the Turboff household, but ESPN 90 or Madden, I should say, 99 club. Myles Garrett, I agree with that. Josh Allen, I agree with that. Justin Jefferson, agreed. Saquon Barkley, I can agree with that. I see the vision. Same with Jamar Chase. Lamar Jackson, yeah. Now, can someone tell me what is Lane Johnson doing here? This is like the Three Dragons meme, and one of them spitting out their tongue, and the other two have like smoke coming out of their nose. You know what I mean? And also like this comment says, how is there no Mahomes? So yeah, thank you, Jake Bayless. I had the same thoughts. Will, hopefully, this a little bit better. He's trying on the hot right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking looking for some thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree with all of them besides Lane Johnson. Like, what is he doing on here?
I don't know. I understand, like, from a game rating perspective, why Patrick Mahomes is not a 99. But I don't think there should be two quarterbacks rated ahead of him. Like, and first of all, he's always been a Madden kind of demon, especially in the later games, with what you're able to do, with the throwing mechanics and everything. Lamar Jackson is also the same thing. I've never thought of Josh Allen as like a guy that's unbeatable in Madden, and never someone that I really consider at 99. I would have Patrick Mahomes over Josh Allen, and really I wouldn't have Jamar Chase as a 99 either.
You just have Justin Jefferson. Like, how many 99 overall should there be? Because I don't think they've ever had 7. At least,
yeah, I don't think. I mean, like, there should be 4, maybe 5 max. There shouldn't be more than one player at each position that is 99. Like that's kind of, if you wanted to have 10 or 20, 11 or 22 99 overalls, I would understand that. But I do think, unless there's very rare situations, and I honestly think that quarterback and running back are the only two that make some sense where there's like not an undeniable number one. Like a quarterback, it is a three-way race between Allen, Lamar, and Mahomes. A running back, it's Saquon and Derrick Henry, but that's it. Like I think all the other ones, like Justin Jefferson is the most talented receiver in the NFL. He's the best. Nobody, offensive lineman being 99 is just ridiculous. I think there's no one that's perfect. I understood when Trent Williams was like the first one to get it a few years ago, but Lane Johnson's kind of an odd one.
It's also interesting because it's like, is he even the Philadelphia Eagles' best offensive tackle? Like Jordan Mailata, you know what I mean? And with what like his freaky measurements testing data was, as someone who had never played football before, but they're drafted into the NFL because they were, 6'6", 300-pound, 34-inch arm plus functional athlete. Like very few of those exist on this planet Earth that have those measurements and can actually have the athleticism to hang on the outside as a bookend tackle. And Mailata did. He had never played football before taking a snap in the NFL. And they made it work, and he's now one of the best offensive tackles in the league. That guy over Lane Johnson in like year 18 or whatever it is for him, I think is, would be the answer most people would give in the Eagles building, probably even then. I don't know. Some other stuff I want to talk about. Treylon Burks got released by the Tennessee Titans. Look back at this trade for a sec. The Eagles got A.J. Brown, signed him to a 4-year, $100 million extension. He obviously has he's really helped turn things around in Philly. Look at Jalen Hurts and the Eagles records pre-A.J. Brown. Look at their record post-A.J. Brown. Or just Jalen Hurts' record with A.J. Brown on the field, or, when he's missed games when he's been with them. There's a big difference to them having him because it opens up everything else for I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. I mean, he won the damn Heisman. Donovan Smith?
Sorry, go back a few seconds. I missed you on the
first. He won the Heisman Alabama receiver. Is it Donovan Smith?
Devonta Smith.
Devontae. Okay, I knew it was D. Smith, something D. But yeah, like A.J. Brown has helped turn that franchise around so much. Obviously, they've done everything else well, drafted well, signed for agents well, done a lot of different things. But A.J. Brown has really, been the engine in the car, you could almost say. And then, meanwhile, with Tennessee, Treylon Burks has like 600 career receiving yards in 2 seasons. He's going into his 3rd season. They drafted with what they got back a 2022 3rd-round pick. They took Roger McCreary with other picks. Roger McCreary, cornerback, Nicholas Petit-Ferrer, a offensive tackle, and wide receiver Kyle Phillips, who are, for the most part, they're professional athletes, but in the grand scheme of the NFL, bums, right? So, Jesus Christ, like Tennessee, I forget the name of their GM. I know it's a new guy now who made this trade, but holy crap.
This is bad. This was a true Tennessee Titans move. And it was bad at the time. Like, I think the Titans understood that A.J. Brown was kind of hitting a level where it was going to be hard to re-sign him. You didn't have a quarterback at the time, and you still don't. This was the year they drafted Will Levis, right? Yeah, I think so. I think it was the year they drafted Will Levis.
Nah, because he was a rookie last year. So
Will
he
Levis was not a rookie last year. Will Levis was don't believe he was a rookie last year. Believe he was in the C.J. Stroud draft.
He might have been. I don't know. Maybe.
So, yeah, this was a year after. So I guess they're rolling in with Tannehill again. This was a year past them drafting Malik Willis. So I guess they what I'm saying is like A.J. Brown's probably not going to re-sign there. And honestly, like you needed to go out and get a receiver. You needed to get a guy who you thought could be that level of store. But Treylon Burks was never considered the top receiver in this draft and was never considered really in the second tier. Like he had just kind of come on at Arkansas his last year there. He wasn't someone that had like 3 or 4 years of complete tape. So, and Jordan, I loved the thing you sent me the other day about, maybe you could have known based on who was at his draft party.
Yeah. If you don't know, I'm not going to show our DMs and the other stuff in there, but Treylon Burks had his draft party at what looks like an Arkansas Trident house, and he's got his grandparents and his grandmother just sitting at a table waiting for the phone call, and the photo is like a sea of sorority girls.
Fair color.
Everyone's like, man, we should have seen this coming, He brought Granny to the Tri-Delta house or whatever, the Tri-Delta house, But I don't know. It was funny. This trade is interesting to look at. Justin Jefferson and Stephon Diggs. The Vikings, you should say they won this trade. I think that's pretty easy to say. I mean, you were just saying Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in the NFL. And Stephon Diggs doesn't even play for the Bills anymore. He's with the Patriots and passing out pink cocaine on yachts. Shout out to him. But the Vikings won this trade for sure. They got Justin Jefferson with their first-round pick and then ended up with a 2020 fifth and sixth-round pick that they ended up using in trades and a 2020 fourth-round pick that turned into defensive end Janarius Robinson. The Bills, on the other hand, got Stephon Diggs and a 2020 seventh-rounder that turned into cornerback Dane Jackson, who I think might actually
I feel like he's a player. Like
he might still be with the Bills. But yeah, no, it was bad. And no, that trade was not on Vrabel. It was John Robinson. There he is. They've done a horrible job drafting. For Cam Ward, I don't remember who their 2024 pick was. Their 2023 pick, don't remember. They took a offensive tackle from Virginia one of those years who has been horrific.
Okay, I've got it.
Dylan Radons is his name.
Their last few first-round picks, Cam Ward, J.C. Latham, who they drafted 7th in 24.
He could still be all right because he has some guard flexibility.
Peter Skoronski, who I believe has not done – I know he's started, but has just kind of been a run-of-the-mill guy. And he was not a top – he was a number 11 pick. He was still paid pretty high.
Disappointing for the draft position.
Yes. And then you have, Burks. Caleb Farley was drafted 22nd overall in 2021. He's no longer in the NFL. Isaiah Wilson was an awful pick out of Georgia. Maybe the worst rookie season that I can remember. And he played one game his rookie year and then said, I don't want to play for the Titans anymore. And they cut him or they traded him for like a 7th-round swap. And then, maybe he lasted another year on a practice squad in Miami or the Giants. It says he was on the practice squad in 21 and then got suspended 2 years after not playing in the NFL at all and has not been hurt since then. So that's about the worst first-round pick I can think of in recent memory. And he was 29. Still, honestly, really, really bad pick.
Yeah, Wilson. I mean, realistically, is probably the biggest you could say draft bust of our lifetime. Because
it's close. Yeah.
Because, like, he never I know Jamarcus Russell, trust me, and I know even the Caleb Farley example, or Dylan Radunz, or Johnny Manziel. We're obviously alive for him too. But, like, those guys actually ended up playing in the NFL in several games. Isaiah Wilson played one game, and if I'm not mistaken, it was like 6 snaps on special teams.
I think
There's
so,
a
yeah.
YouTube video done about how he's one of the biggest busts in NFL history. Trust me, I get the Ryan Leaf, Jamarcus Russell. But, like, Isaiah Wilson was a first-round pick, played one game as a rookie, and has not played in the NFL since. And I actually used to follow him on social media. I might still follow him. I don't know if I do, because he changed his username, and it's some dumb shit now where you got to type it in specifically, and I don't know what to type in specifically. But I'm a fan of the Bussin' with the Boys podcast. Was a bigger fan back in the day, but they still do a good job. They still put out some good content. And they had Isaiah Wilson on there like 1 or 2 months after the Titans drafted him. And he seemed fine. He seemed like a great guy, cool guy. Answer questions great. Like, there was nothing where I'm like, yo, what is up with this dude? Or, like, he's going to be horrible. And then, like, 4 weeks later, training camp comes, and he's not there. Or this, and that's going on. And it was very strange. And I remember, like, about a year or two after that, he was starting to post, like, music videos and shit. And it's like, oh, Lord. Like, this is a Kirby Smart special. As soon as they get out of Georgia, they're going off the rails. You know what I mean?
And this was pre-Georgia being, really great on the level they're great now. This is when it was not even cool to be the guy that got the speeding and DUI charges for Georgia.
Whoa, now. But with Wilson too, dude, he's from New York. If I'm not mistaken, he's from Brooklyn. It was a 5-star prospect out of Brooklyn that Georgia landed. Like, what the hell?
And should have been a top 15 pick. But, got another charge like a month before the draft and slid down. Like, he was, I remember, within conversations to be a top 10 pick.
Yeah. I did not remember that, but yeah, that was pretty damn bad. Some other stuff. If we want to do some recruiting, get away from NFL for a little bit. Corona Centennial 3-star tight end Keave Brown posted a screenshot of the Notes app, which is very rarely ever good news. Here's a screenshot of the Notes app. I'm just going to read it for those on audio only. He says, I appreciate the staff at Texas for offering me and bringing my family on an official visit this summer. I committed to Texas and agreed to their process of postponing my announcement as they sort out their roster with 2026 commits and new financial terms with the NIL landscape. However, with recent changes in my recruitment and my further interest from other universities, I would like to officially visit in the fall. My family and those close to me believe it is in my best interest to reopen my recruiting. I will be moving on from the University of Texas. We are looking forward to finding my home where I am most valued in all aspects. Keave Brown. So I'll talk about kind of the timeline from our point of view. Jeff Banks goes out to his high school in May and offers him. We had never heard of the kid. We didn't even know he existed. Anyone in this market would be lying to you if they told you they knew he existed. No one knew. So they offer him. End up finding out he's canceled his USCOV. The offer was also extended to him around like about a week or two, if I'm not mistaken, after Mark Bowman committed to USC out of the blue. So USC kind of fell out of the picture then for him, but really more so once Texas offered. He had a Boise State official visit booked for June 20th through 22nd. Texas told him, no, we want the last dates. Let us have that date. So Texas was the only OV he took this summer, the only OV he's taken thus far through his recruiting process. Gets on campus, silently commits. I think he already had several crystal balls in before because that was his one OV. It was pretty easy to guess where it was trending at the time because it was trending Texas. When he gets on campus and he's silenced. I don't know what the conversation was of, hey, man, awesome, we're happy you're committed, but we're going to wait, or, hey, man, we're not ready to take your commitment yet. I'm not sure what actually went down, but he told the staff, I'm committing here. So there's that. But for him, I mean, it's an upside prospect, 6'4", 6'5", Don't know his weight off the top of my head, but a big functional athlete who has played primarily at the edge position as a junior. That was the most impressive year football tape. He has 5 catches to his name. He can still figure it out. He will end up somewhere power 4, and he will have a shot at the NFL as a functional athlete that is that big, that long, and is going to end up testing well years from now. He just needs development. So I believe, where is this? Blair Angular wrote a story. A source said it's looking like Auburn, USC, Florida State, Miami, and Washington.
That's not a bad list for a guy that has gone from really not being a power 4 prospect to one that, huge teams from the ACC, SEC, and Big Ten are looking at. So good on him.
Yeah. I don't know about USC, how legit they are. It sounded like they broke up and went separate ways once Texas came in the picture. Maybe not, or maybe that's changed. But, man, watch out for Washington. Like, Washington has done such a phenomenal job recruiting the cycle. I love their class. I love what Jetfish has done. I think he's a cornball and has a very punchable face, but I think he does a good job, a really good job. So, hey, shout out to Washington because they could be something here in a few years, maybe here in a year. They got Damon Williams, who is currently my quarterback for the Texas Longhorns.
I know he's a big portal guy when in the game.
Yeah, he's been in the portal every single year. Played for OU 1 year, Arkansas 1 year, and now he's playing for the Longhorns. So, yeah. And I say, hey, can come on home to Pop. I can't roll year 5 Trailwinds out here. He's skill capped at like an 86. So, give me Damon Williams. So, but yeah, so Keave Brown, that was the only tight end name we were really looking at. Obviously, they were trying to get Bowman. He ended up at USC out of the blue. I guess did a Hail Mary attempt with Caden Prothro. I think anyone in Georgia would have told you that kid was going to Georgia since he got a Georgia offer. That's kind of our read. We were always very clear about that. And then Hezzy Kent ended up choosing Florida over Miami, Texas, and Florida State. That one was trending towards the Sunshine State schools for several weeks before the decision. It was not going to be Texas for several weeks before he went public with it. And that was common knowledge. He also silently committed on his Florida OV, which I think was the week before he took his Texas OV. It was at some point before the OV. And Texas was aware of that. They knew about that. But, man, at tight end, they could potentially not take one this cycle. We got to think big picture. Jack Andrews.
Yeah,
likely an NFL player, but he does have another year to come back in 2026 if you wanted to.
Talking about Andrews, yes. Andrews, I think he's going to be too good to pass up the draft. With the way that I really think Arch can use tight ends. Like, being a tight end to Texas already was a big deal. And that's only having one elite recruit in the Sarkisian era, and one that wasn't really even his. Like, Jatavian Sanders was a Herman recruit that they were able to sign. And they have not picked up a blue chip tight end since. Other than Nick Townsend, who's, comes in with an athlete tag. So, like, I do think the Texas tight end spot should be not as coveted as maybe left tackle and obviously quarterback and maybe cornerback. But this is a spot that I think once Arch Manning really does some damage and has a full year of the starter, Andrews is going to be utilized a ton for Texas. And it's going to be a position that a lot of recruits want to play at. That being said, like you said, there's depth there. You're going to have Nick Townsend in year 2. You're going to have Amari Winston in year 2, who is reportedly, impressed a lot through spring camp, and I would imagine we hear even more good words about him as fall camp or summer camp starts up here in a couple days. So the case is there to not take a scholarship tight end. I do think that there may be, an in-state guy that only has group of 5 options or FCS options that Texas ends up taking as a preferred walk-on or an NIL walk-on or something like that. But with how this cycle has gone, obviously there's still going to be something to watch with Mark Bowman. It's hard to believe that Mark Bowman wouldn't end up at USC, but there's also a chance that Lincoln Riley's not at USC come signing day. So this is a huge if, because I'm going to say 95% chance that Mark Bowman ends up at USC. But if that other 5% is opened up, in my eyes, Texas would be the team to beat. It would probably likely be Texas and Georgia already has to pay the number 2 tight end in the country in Caden Prothro. So there aren't any teams near the top of the college football landscape that had more options in terms of compensation and flexibility than Texas does a tight end, because they've missed on everyone to this point.
Yeah, I think 2 recruits that would be interesting to look at. Georgia has 3 tight end commits. And if I'm Texas, I would be like, hey, to the 2 kids not named Caden Prothro. And their names are Braden Fogel and Lincoln Keys, 2 top 247 tight ends. Georgia has 3 top 247 tight ends committed. One of them should be a 5-star, in my opinion. I think he's a first-round pick as long as he stays healthy in 4 years.
I think it's hard for, I do think this is going to end up being a region thing. Texas doesn't have a ton of people out in Ohio or Michigan. And props to Georgia for, I know they're great at nationally recruiting, but for them to get 2 tight ends that are depth pieces in this class, both ranked in the top 247 out of the Midwest, man, that's impressive. I didn't realize that. I thought one of them was in state, apart from Prothro. That is, I not like I looked at every class and where the tight ends stack up, but I would imagine this is the best tight end class in the country by a mile.
Yeah, I haven't looked, but there's no question it is. They have 3 of the top 12 ranked tight ends, a 4th of them.
That's just ridiculous.
No one else is doing that. But hey, shout out to Bobo.
He's the tight ends coach too.
He's an OC. I mean, I don't know if he's a tight ends coach too. His son is a center though.
That's right.
I found this kind of funny. Like, everyone keeps talking about how Georgia has to replace all these starters, and he's like, "Oh, the OC son, he's the center. The OC son is the center. Is he even that good? Or is it just his dad?" Like, I read other, like, Texas's opponents. I read their practice reports, like, on their 24/7 or on 3 sites or whatnot. I'm curious. And all the Georgia ones, like, each time the Georgia writer, whoever it is like, sources always want to clarify, like, Bobo has a starting center job because he's Georgia's best center, not just because he's the OC son. And, like, I just keep seeing that be repeated, and I don't know. It's almost like a bit at this point. But tight end recruiting. I'll say it every time we talk about tight end recruiting. Javian Martin, would love to see that come about. I do think he's almost a little too similar to Amari Winston, though, in terms of play style. Slightly bigger, slightly slower, not quite as twitchy, and didn't play at a high school program that has the same development. And I'd say, like, this guidance that Amari Winston got at Calhoun down in Georgia. But good one, Nathan. But with Scoop Martin, Arkansas commit, Sam Pittman's going to get fired if he doesn't win a certain amount of games. I mean, that we've been saying that for a few years. We'll see if Arkansas actually does it. But that's a guy I like a lot. It also wouldn't be shocking at all to see some random kid pop up on the radar that they offer as a senior, like they offered a kid out of Magnolia a few years ago to be an athlete, take linebacker or tight end. He was already committed to Utah at the time, and he basically told Texas to shove it. He didn't even want to visit because they offered him like 6 days before signing day. And he's still at Utah. I believe was a true freshman last year, maybe second-year player. But I don't know. Like, they have options because next season, Spencer Shannon, he will not be in the NFL next season. He will be going into year four. Will Randall will be in year 4. Jordan Washington in year 3, and then Nick Townsend and Amari Winston in year 2, and potentially Jack Injuries in year 5. So, I mean, we'll see. But I don't know. Yeah, I've not looked at Arkansas' schedule.
That'd be early, man. Let's see who they've got before.
This is a great trap game. I'm pretty sure they play UAPB in Little Rock for like the 1,000th year in a row.
Oh man, this is interesting. They play Alabama A&M. Yeah.
If you can.
I sure can. Arkansas plays Alabama A&M and Arkansas State to start the season. It looks like that one, the Arkansas State game, is actually a neutral site game. It says Little Rock. I'm not sure where they're playing.
Yeah. They played a UAPB there last year at that stadium. It's some war memorial stadium there in Little Rock.
There you go. And then they play. They're one of the only teams that has a week 2 or week 3 game in conference in the SEC. They'll play at Ole Miss, and it's going to be a night game too. It says 6 or 6:45. It'll still be light outside, I guess, but it's a night game nonetheless in Oxford, and we saw Georgia couldn't even survive there last year. So I would guess they lose that game. I think Austin Simmons, I think I mentioned on the show before, I think he's a sleeper Heisman candidate. It's someone that will kind of cement himself as a top 5 quarterback in the SEC.
Hey, Will. Ole Miss also treats Arkansas like a farm system.
That's true.
And gets at least like 6 transfers to them each year. So that game will be pretty heated. I think there'll be some jabs from Mr. Kiffin.
Look at this right here. Look at this stretch of 5 games. At Ole Miss, at Memphis, then they've got Notre Dame at home, then they're at Tennessee, then they play A&M. Like, it would be a miracle if they win 2 of these games, right?
Yeah, they are fucked.
And then you see Auburn there right at the bottom. That one is a home game, but like, man. So they're very likely going to win these first 2 games. And then I think they lose 4 out of these 6, at least 4 out of these 6. And then the second half of your season is Mississippi State. That should be a win, at LSU, at Texas, Mizzou. And you're probably only winning 1 of those games. So it's looking almost impossible that Arkansas makes a bowl game. I'll say that.
Yeah, Taylor Green needs to not play like he did last year if they make a bowl game.
I believe what you're saying is he needs to slot into tight end.
Well, I mean, that's not going to help him very much. I need to look and see who they got out of the portal because they lost that receiver. They went nuclear in the bowl game when transferred to Cal. And there's all these memes of him taking those woke roids and stuff. Have you seen that? Like the transfer? Yeah, that's the Arkansas receiver transfer who went bonkers in the whatever BS bowl game they played in.
Jordan, do you know who the backup quarterback is at Arkansas?
Let me think. Texas kid, state of Texas kid?
No. Oh, I was wrong. I had the name mixed up. I was thinking it was KJ Jefferson with somehow 1 more year of eligibility. It's KJ Jackson, who's a redshirt freshman out of Montgomery. They've got Grayson Wilson behind him, who I think was a high 3-star in the 25 range. Then Trevor Jackson, who was actually he was an Elite 11 finalist a couple of years ago. Started out at UCF. That sounds kind of right. Or Florida State. Didn't play there and went out with all the other quarterbacks when Malzahn came in.
God, dude, this is bad. This is very bad.
Yeah, we're taking a look at their depth chart right here. Not a ton of names that I even know, to be honest. Braylon Russell as their running back. That was a great add by them in the 24 class. But man, there's some guys that should not be playing SEC football on this list.
Yeah, it's very bad news when someone's about to get fired when you go and look at their transfer database thing on 24/7, and they got dudes transferring to ULM. They got dudes transferring to Missouri State, to Arkansas State, to ULM again, to South Alabama, to App State, to holy shit, they had a kid go D2, Wichita Baptist. That is a D2 school in the middle of Arkansas. What the Brad Spence to Texas, and then below him it's to Central Arkansas, to App State. This is not good. I don't know how Pittman's kept his job this long. I feel kind of bad for him. He's obviously done this to himself, but he's a great guy. He's a very likable guy. I think I've talked about this before, but when Selman Bridges was coming out of high school, I helped him in his camp, I guess, his recruitment some. Did his commitment video. It's still up on Texas Football Life if you want to go check that out. And for a lot of it, there's footage of Selman talking to Pittman on FaceTime, when he made the call to commit and tell him and all that. And they ended up talking for like 30, 40 minutes. And just very like down-to-earth guy. I see why a lot of people want to play for him. And, I see why people say the things they do, the negative things about him. Even I say some of those things because I do think they are true to some degree. He could have done a better job. He can do a better job. Part of it is that, they're in the situation Rodney Terry was in this year where boosters are like, hey, this guy's never going to win unless he gets NIL and help with money, but we don't want to be the coach. You want a new guy, so we're not helping. That is where Sam Pittman is with Arkansas right now. And the rev share has helped some of that, but like there are players holding them hostage for dollars by going into the portal saying, I'm going here. They're going to pay me way more than y'all. Y'all can only do this. And then Arkansas has to pay that because that number is still kind of a discount for what that player's worth. And if they try to throw that same number at a different player in the portal who's now been to Arkansas, they're not going to get like the buddy discount. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I don't know how you win there. That state only produces like at most 3 or 4 kids a year who can actually play there. So you got to go get your groceries from elsewhere, East Texas, Oklahoma. And they have had some takes from there, but they leave too much meat on the bone in scouting. And if you're at a place like Arkansas where you're going to be that restricted from a location standpoint, fun standpoint, you have to have a good scouting team or you are going to be shit up creek. So that's my thoughts on Arkansas. But yeah.
One last kind of general recruiting thing I want to get to. John Hebert was a prospect that I talked about a few weeks ago as someone that Texas maybe could go after if they were taking a second look at in-state running backs. At the time, he did not have a ranking on him, and now he is a damn near blue chip recruit as an 88 3-star. Well, it looks like I'm 88 3-star committed to the University of Houston, flipped from Wazoo. I'd just like to say the class that U of H has, and this is one, if we're just negative about Arkansas, be positive about Houston. Look at the class that they've put together. I know Jordan's going to get some laughs, but man, these are some actual players here. Keyshawn Anderson at the top, Paris Melvin, someone that Texas took a legitimate run at in the summer, but we're just too late with. Jaden Warren out of Iowa Colony, who's kind of the least talked about receiver in South Houston when you compare him to the Ja'Cory Watsons and the Aiden Starlings and the Chris Stewarts. He's one that's kind of fallen under the radar because he's at Iowa Colony. As I mentioned, John Hebert, and there's a few other Houston guys that you see: Port Arthur, Kevon Roberts, Aaron Wolford out of PNG. Connie Watts is a great depth piece, also out of Iowa Colony. Troy Kless, someone that Texas took a look at early on.
I like
this is a damn good class in Big 12.
Xavier Fleming, Louisville's really good.
Yeah,
I like him. He's not a professional player, but he can be a really good college player. This Rhett Gray cat, they just flipped him from TCU like 2 days ago. I have talked to people at both TCU and Houston about him because whenever Ojo took the Texas Tech bag, I started to make some calls around to get some, scouting opinions on other offensive tackles they could offer besides the, Malachi Lees or like the Zayden Krempens, guys they've already offered. I wanted senior eval guys. And I talked to multiple people on different staffs. TCU had this guy graded higher than any other offensive tackle they OV'd, and Houston the same. They love this kid, both of the staffs. Basketball background is verified at like 6'7.25, 6'7.3. He's one of the very rare guys that is actually taller than 6'6", because all these kids list themselves at 6'7", 6'8", and they show up to an Under Armour camp, they show up for a visit, and they're 6'4.5" or 6'5". And it's not a huge deal, but it is a big deal when they are actually 6'7". So there's that. 290, he's thin in the ankles. That's kind of concerning a little bit, but there's so much frame space with him. So I love this kid. I think he can be an NFL player. And I think if Texas was going to have to go the senior eval route for offensive tackle, I would go here as far as the in-state kids. He can be a true left tackle, and that's something very important for the Longhorns. But Arkansas should not bring Chad Morris back. Would love it though, but that's not happening. But anyways,
no, they should not.
Up next. Sorry? You got me?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I'm going to go for it.
Up next, SEC Unfiltered does a deep dive preview into the 2025 Texas Longhorns and tries to answer the biggest questions heading into the season. We're going to get out of here. Hopefully we'll have some better service on our Wi-Fi tomorrow. Fall camp for the Texas Longhorns start tomorrow, so we'll have some preview there. 2 p.m. Chip and Zay will be back on the live stream, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, wherever your live stream. We will see y'all tomorrow. Have a great Tuesday.